All right. Well, good evening, good morning, hello, good day, wherever you may be. Welcome to the BCV podcast. I am your host, Pastor SaikoWoods, and let's give everyone a few moments to jump in. Welcome those of you who are in the YouTube chat, Facebook family. Let me make sure you are here. Sometimes, again, the settings are kind of off, so I want to make sure that you are able to join this discussion and live as well. All right, let's see where we are. Let's see where my people are at on Facebook. Miss Bobby, hello. How you doing, ma'am? Jay Will, what's going on, my brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. And if you can hear me okay so far in the chat, give me a one if you don't mind, please. Just want to make sure that people can hear me okay. Those of you who are in the chat so far. And we'll get started momentarily. Just want to make sure that people are able to jump in and chime in if they would like to. Brother Proverbs, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Brother Tommy, good to see you as well. Thank you so much. Appreciate the support, you all. Good. Everybody can hear me well. All right. Great. Okay. Well, do me a favor if you don't mind. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell at the bottom of this video. That way, whenever I go live and post any content, you all will be able to view it. Of course, you already know some of my notifications don't go through. Not really. Well, we do know why. Yeah, we know why. But nonetheless, if those of you who are able to share this information and post it and tag a friend, send them the link as well. They'll be able to view and support channels and ministries like this. So I definitely appreciate you all's support. Thank you so much for joining me here on today. So I want to, of course, I've been out of the loop a little bit. Celebrated birthday, 52 years. The Lord allowed me to see another year, and am blessed and grateful for that. That was 2 weeks ago, October 13th, which was on a Thursday. My wife and we went out for that weekend to celebrate, and also to celebrate her returning home as a stay-at-home mother again after 4 years of working outside the home. God has been faithful to answer our prayers, and we are grateful and overjoyed to be able to see God's hand and to see answered prayer. And hopefully it'll be an encouragement to some of you. Whatever your prayers may be, God still answers prayer. He is a prayer answering God. And he may not answer your prayers in the time that you want them answered, but trust me, his timing is perfect. His timing is immaculate. And so I would just encourage those of you who are praying for God to move in your life, in your situation, regarding a family member, regarding the salvation of a loved one, regarding decisions that you must make or have to make regarding physical issues, spiritual issues, mental issues, financial issues, relationship issues, whatever those issues or even concerns may be. And it doesn't always have to be, something negative or life-threatening. But whatever those things are, I'm a living witness to encourage and to let you know that God is he still answers prayer. He still answers prayer. And so just want to encourage those of you who are praying and have been praying for quite some time and even years for God to move. Trust me, he will do it in his timing and according to his purpose and will and plan for your life. And definitely it is something to behold and to testify to the goodness and awesomeness of our God. Bro, Smart Christian, aka Brother Corey, man. Look, you know how these notifications are, bro. You know how these notifications are, my man. My notifications don't go through, and if it does, that in itself is a miracle. But glad to see you all here, and again, please support ministries and channels like BCV Podcast, mine, Sister Dinah Reviews, of course, Smart Christian Channel. We definitely appreciate the support and others as well. That Christian Fam channel, Cure for the Soul. I don't want to miss too many names, but just the ones that I can recall and recollect from my memory. But yeah, it's godly Christian content. I mean, it's out there, but you got to look for it. You have to look for it. And so anytime you get a hold of godly, solid, consistent Christian content, you want to hold on to that thing for dear life. And you want to pray for those content creators as well, that they remain faithful to the mission, remain faithful to the gospel, remain faithful to the calling and purpose that God has for them. We all have different content, but the overall purpose is for us to bring glory and honor to God, and for us to be an encouragement, for us to be able to exhort and even challenge the body of Christ wherever God allows our channels and our paths to intersect and to cross. So without any further ado, again, please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, get those likes up, ladies and gentlemen. That helps the algorithm. It helps those who know about this ministry to be able to view it and to watch it. Sister Darnisha, welcome. Good to see you. I see you as Facebook user, but I know it's you, sister. But I see your name here on the Facebook chat. So, but welcome to you and the family. But let's do this. Let's cover some housekeeping rules, of course, before we get started and get this show on the road. All right. Of course, you all know fair use. Have to say that. Under Title 17, USC Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. And of course, BCV Podcast, hosted by myself, yours truly, SaikoWoods, is a ministry which strives to address issues that is spiritual, social, psychological, etc., from a biblical perspective and worldview, using the Word of God, which is book, chapter, verse, as the final authority for faith, life, and practice. Psalm 19, verses 7 through 11, and Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12. Warning and disclaimer. I want to say warning, Will Robertson, warning. But warning, disclaimer, my content to some may be deemed and perceived as offensive, harsh, mean, divisive, repulsive, and sinful. And even some have even deemed it as being anathema. But to others like yourself, those who have been consistent and faithful and supportive of this ministry, to others like yourself, it is not. Therefore, it is your responsibility to be convinced in your own mind, not mine, your own mind, whether you can, in good conscience, continue to view, engage, participate, consume, imbibe, support, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Romans chapter 14, verse 5b, and verses 22 through 23. It is also the responsibility of you, the viewer, to comport and govern yourselves accordingly, not mine. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 10. All right. So now that is all out of the way, let us get down to the subject at hand. What say ye about ye? That's the title of this live. What say ye about ye? Of course, we've been watching, and of course, you've been seeing and reading blogs and hearing news reports on social media and in the media as well regarding statements that Kanye West has made about the Jewish people. And of course, he has received a lot of pushback and the firestorm of criticism seems to have not died down. But nonetheless, we as Christians, we should be able to respond to these situations. Hopefully, I pray from a biblical perspective and worldview. And so my question to you, and I'll open up the live for those who may want to cam up and share their thoughts, because I have several questions I want to pose to you tonight. And I want to ask the following questions. Number one, do you believe, or is Kanye West, or he calls himself Ye now, is Mr. Ye, do you believe Mr. Ye is anti-Semitic? Do you believe his comment was anti-Semitic? His DEFCON 3 statement, do you believe it was a form of anti-Semitism? Do you believe he's a racist? Do you also believe that he should apologize to the Jewish community as a whole? Do you believe he should apologize to the Jewish community as a whole? Do you believe that he has mental issues? Do you believe he's crazy? Do you believe he's lost it? Do you believe that he's gone way out there in left field? I mean, this is just honest. We want to have an honest conversation, honest discussion and dialogue. Do you believe that Candace Owens is helping or hurting Ye? Do you believe that Candace Owens is hurting or helping him? Do you believe that she honestly and objectively cares about him, or do you believe that Candace Owens is an opportunist seeking to grift and to take advantage of Kanye or Mr. Ye? And last but not least, do you believe that that is Kanye or Ye, is a Christian? Do you believe that he is a Christian? Do you believe that he is a neophyte? Do you believe that he's not saved at all? Just simple, honest questions, and I want to hear your thoughts about it as well. But what I want to do, I want to play some segments of the video interview that he had, that Ye had with Piers Morgan. I believe, and I've seen Drink Champs, I've seen Chris Cuomo interview, I've seen the Tucker Carlson interview. I saw, and last but not least, and lastly, I've seen the Piers Morgan interview. Let me add another question. Out of those interviews that you've seen, which interview you believe explained or helped you to get a better understanding of Kanye and his position and his statements regarding the Jewish community, regarding White Lives Matter, the shirt that he wore, him and Candace wore, whatever. I mean, if you saw all four of those different interviews, do you believe, which one do you believe helped you to have a better understanding, or did it just muddy the waters even more so? Leave a comment in the chat, or if you would like to cam up and have a discussion with me, I would love to have you on, and we can do that. Proverbs, you said the Tucker Carlson interview gave you what about it? Do you believe that it helped get a better understanding, or did it help, or did it make the situation more confusing and muddy the waters? What about the Tucker Carlson interview? What was your perspective on that? Donnie, you said, and I quote, you said, fruit is the last thing to grow on a tree. I'm patient with everyone. Amen. Amen. Jesus loves you. You said you don't believe that he is saved, no fruit. Okay. All right. Mr. E, you said, I think he got caught up in his emotions and lashed out. All right. All right. You believe that Candace, which is she, is riding the Ye train. You also believe that he's hurting. Be great. Welcome, my brother. Good to see you, my man. You said, I need full context to it. Right now, it seems like it, but I don't know the story. That's good. That's good. And one thing I like about you, brother, you try to err on the side of caution and let's wait and see. And that's good. And that is to be admired. And I pray all of us do that we would be as we would want others to be with us. You believe it was a fair interview. Okay. You believe the Tucker Carlson interview was fair. Okay. All right. Dear, you said you agree with Dinah. Okay. Purpose, you said you believe that Ye is saved but lacks discipleship. Okay, gotcha. Kwam, you said I have a whole lot to say about this. All right. Okay. So let's do this. Let me go ahead and put the link up, and but don't hop in the live yet. Okay, don't hop in the live yet. But I'll put it up and then I'll pin it, and hopefully when I do that, and I'll pin it to my YouTube as well, and make sure that it stays. Where did it go? There we go. All right, so I pinned it in my YouTube channel, and then I'll populate it again later on. So let's do this. I do have quite a few segments of the video to share with you, and I'm going to share with you the Piers Morgan. Me personally, I believe the Piers Morgan interview. I'll probably say coming in at a close second was the Tucker Carlson interview. I believe that the Piers Morgan interview, I was able to hear more about his perspective. Tucker's interview as well with him was definitely good, but he seems to have said more about the Piers Morgan interview. Let me ask this question: how many of you seen the Piers Morgan interview? It was a 2-hour interview. How many of you seen the Piers Morgan interview? Put up a 1 if you've seen the Piers Morgan interview. If you saw the Piers Morgan interview, put up a 1 in the chat. If you've seen the Piers Morgan interview, put up a 1, and if you hadn't, put up a 2. But you can go on Piers Morgan Uncensored. I believe he has a YouTube channel. You can check it out there. All right, Kwam, you said that you seen it. Okay. All right. Okay. Most of y'all said that you haven't seen it. Dear, you said you've seen it, of course. Be Great, you said you have not seen it. Okay. Well, Danisha, you said you haven't seen it. Okay. So I'm going to play some segments of the interview, and I'll give my commentary on some of it. I got some timestamps in it. There were some portions in this interview that I believe that he was spot on, and of course he said some things that I don't agree with. But that's with all of us. We all can say things that we don't agree with somebody, and we're Christians, right? But nonetheless, I want to share some segments in the video, and feel free to leave your comments as well in the chat. Let me go ahead and remove this person right now. And yeah, thank you, Proverbs. Appreciate it. Moderators, definitely keep your eyes on these people. The trolls are already in here, so let me go ahead and block this person here on my side, and go from there. All right, so yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen, and we'll go ahead and get this video, this interview on the way here. So, and this is from the Piers Morgan interview, and I'm going to want to make sure that you all can hear, and make sure that I take this echo out of here as well. So I'll go ahead and mute my mic just to make sure, because I want to make sure you hear everything that's being said. All right, so here we go. Again, this is the Kanye West or Ye interview on Piers Morgan, and we'll go ahead and start it at the beginning, and I'll toggle along in certain points and highlights of the interview. So let's go.
Well, I think there's a left agenda to silence anyone that goes against the agenda. Let's go back to Trump running for office back in 2015, everyone that was around me in my industry, in the entertainment industry, told me that my life would be over. I would be on the wrong side of history. I've even had threats to my life for wearing the Trump hat. And it even ended up in, destroying my family, and also making it where I have to raise my children differently, because I actually am a person that's classified as Black. I classify myself as Jew, but a person that's classified, that had been given that title in America as Black in America, that I'm supposed to stay in a block of a vote. You never heard the term white vote. So why is there a term Black vote? How is that okay? It sounds just as racist as a Black drinking fountain. And my dad, called me and said, the thing that the left fear about Ye, or makes me the most dangerous, is I'm rich. And that's the point. Tupac told me back in the days, you had to get your money right, and then you go to war. So I'm going to war. I don't have endless resources. I only have, like, maybe, honestly, only maybe $120 million in my account. But what I'm not going to let happen is, I'm not going to let my kids take over Yeezy someday and have a boardroom telling them what to do and talking behind their back. I'm not going to let that happen to my children. So I have to fight right now. And the other powerful icons in Black music, when they were at the top of the game, they didn't fight at that point. They were too afraid of losing whatever they had. So by the time they wanted to make a difference, by the time Bill Cosby wanted to buy NBC, he didn't have the Cosby Show at that time to be able to stand up when they wanted to literally throw him in jail, where they actually did throw him in jail. So people have to understand just the bravery. There's so many people everywhere. I know everyone can relate to being afraid to say what you're going to feel, because you feel like you're going to lose something. So whether you agree with me or not, I believe people are going to feel the fact that someone is brave enough to say something. Every day I do 5 things that people have been historically killed for. Every day. And it's just, I want to prove, first of all, I am Jew also. The 12 lost tribes of Hebrew. Do the math. Do your research on it. We have got our culture ripped from us and then told we were just simply void of color, which is another definition for Black.
Now, of course, I'm going to touch on that. First of all, let's just address the elephant in the room. Not really sure where Mr. Ye is getting his theology from, but nonetheless, that's definitely some Black Hebrew Israelite theology. So anytime I hear Black people claim that they are one of the lost tribes of Israel, and just to be honest with you, I have family members that are caught up into this cult, into this demonic doctrine. Nonetheless, and let's just say that you are. So being a Jew does not save you. Being a Jew does not save you any more than you were actually from the seed of Abraham. What saves a person is placing their faith and trust in Jesus Christ, recognizing that he or she is a sinner and that they deserve the just wrath of a thrice holy God. And if their sins have not been paid for by the true Jew, which is Jesus Christ, on that cross, and that what he did for you because you and I could not do it for ourselves, it would have taken us eternity in hell to pay the debt that we owe, because anyone that is born of man is an enemy of God. And this is why God had to treat his son Jesus the way he would have treated us if we were to have to pay for our own sin. And this is why Jesus, who knew no sin, became sin for us, that we may become the righteousness of God through him. So, no, Mr. Ye, you're not watching this video, but if by happenstance or by the course of God's providence you were to watch this video, it doesn't matter what you claim to be. What matters is who God says you are. And you and I, left to ourselves, are sinners in need of a savior. Period. Full stop. And if you have not truly repented and turned from your sins, you will go to hell. So let's not take any pride in any ethnic superiority, because none of that matters when you and I have to stand and give an account for our life before a thrice holy God. So that's one of the things that I, that I was bothered by, because I'm not really sure who's in his ear. I remember Adam Tyson was the pastor that I believe gave him the gospel, and Adam Tyson is a graduate of the Master Seminary. I would love to get in contact with this brother. I know when the Jesus is King album dropped a couple years ago, Adam Tyson was doing Jesus King tours with well, I'm gonna say tours, but engagements, and was giving the gospel prior to Ye doing performances at certain stadiums and things of that nature. And he was sought after by the body of Christ. That Pastor Tyson was, I believe, is a pastor. He was sought after by a lot of people in the body of Christ to get interviews, and wanted to know how did he get in contact with with Kanye, and how did that relationship start. I would love to have a follow-up conversation with him, and hopefully he's still able to be in Ye's ear, because God knows someone needs to. But anyway, let's continue on with the rest of the interview.
But if we knew we were a culture and knew we were a people the way the Jewish people know, then we wouldn't abort ourselves. We wouldn't shoot each other dead in the streets and then rap about it. We wouldn't brag about, having sex with each other's wives. We would keep our families together, and we would do business together. The most dangerous place for a Black person in America is actually in our mother's stomachs, because 50% of Black deaths a year in America is abortion.
Now, is that true what he said? Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely true. It's definitely true what he said. That abortion, the murder of innocent image bearers, is at an all-time unprecedented high in this country. And for the sake of review, I want to do this. I want to let's see. Yeah, I want to share this abortion counter. That's what I want to do. I want to share this abortion counter. And this is the abortion counter. You see the numbers are constantly, going up. This is actually abortionclock.com. Moderators, you can put that in the chat, and people can have that for their own reference. The abortionclock.com. Right now, abortions in the United States since Roe v. Wade. Of course, we know that now Roe v. Wade is deemed as unconstitutional. But it's only been given back to the states. Notice the numbers are going up. 64,528,423 innocent lives have been massacred, slaughtered, ruthlessly taken since Roe v. Wade. And if that doesn't move you, you have here the number of abortions, the abortion clock, usabortionclock.org. Notice the numbers are continuing to move. In the United States today, as of today, look on the left hand corner of your screen. 1,974.8 babies have been slaughtered just today. Just today. And look at today's date. I don't want you to think this is something old. Look at today's date. Today's date, October 23rd, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Since Roe v. Wade, look at the clock. 64,180,272.9 since 1973. Now 273. By Planned Parenthood since 1970. Even before Roe v. Wade, 9,686,491. By Planned Parenthood this year, 303,974. In the United States this year, in the middle column, 720,492. In this country, after 16 weeks of gestation, 34,583. This year, due to rape and incest. Notice, due to rape and incest, 6,988. Do you see that? So for people who want to claim that reproductive rights and cases of rape and incest, it's a very small. Actually, it's 1%. This is basically 1%. 1% of abortions are due to rape and incest. It's still murder. It's still murder. It is still murder. Of black babies since 1973 in this country, 19,254,082. 19 million. 19.2 plus million black babies. Where's Black Lives Matter at? Where's Black Lives Matter at, y'all? Anybody know? Anybody? Anybody know where Black Lives Matter is? Too busy buying real estate and spending money on alphabet folk. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree, Corey. The number of rape and incest and abortion would even be lower if the number included cases reported to law enforcement. Yep. But I want you to look at these numbers. Worldwide, look at the upper right-hand corner. Look at the number of babies, image bearers that have been aborted, murdered, slaughtered worldwide since 1980. Yeah, you see the number. That's not million. That is billion. 1,672,503,592. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 600. Notice, look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. 1.6 billion with a B as in boy since 1980. Worldwide murders, worldwide slaughters to the God of Planned Parenthood, to eugenics, worldwide this year, 32,892,629, and the numbers are continuing to go up. Worldwide, since you loaded this page, 15,270. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice the numbers keep going up. Worldwide today, 89,428, and the numbers are continue to increase. But Black Lives Matter, right? Sure it does. So is Mr. Ye right about what he said? Yeah, pretty much. You know what the Guttmacher Institute is? The Guttmacher Institute is an arm of Planned Parenthood. Just look them up. Just look them up. Just wanted you to see that that Ye is not he's not lying about this. He's not lying about it at all. Not sure what my dog is barking, but I hope he shuts up because I ain't hear anybody at the door. Hey, I'm gonna hit him in love, of course. Anyway, so but look, he can't be lying about that because the evidence is here. But of course, what party is known to murder its own? Hold on a second. Give me a minute. Give me 1 minute. All right, sorry about that, y'all. Someone was at the door. Nighttime, my wife don't answer no doors at night. I do. So anyway, so let's go back to what Ye is saying. And let's see. All right, let's finish his thought about that.
Currently. I mean, I can keep going, but I want to make it, hey, boom, ask me questions, let's go.
I don't want to jump in too much because here's what I honestly think. I think you have an extraordinary mind. You have a number of extraordinary talents. You're a musical genius. You're a fascinating public figure. What has been interesting to me is to watch the furore which has erupted in the last few weeks over a series of statements that you've made, which have caused, as you know, a lot of offense. And I guess before I get into them, I'm just curious as to whether you think there is a line for free speech. I completely agree with you that there is a war against free speech, that people are treading on eggshells all the time, terrified of expressing honestly held opinions in case they get cancelled. I think we're living in a really insidious era where liberals are behaving like fascists. So on that, you have absolutely my agreement. But my question for you is, do you believe there are limits to free speech? And if they are, what are they?
There are no limits to free speech. It's all context, right? Tarantino can write a movie about slavery where actually him and Jamie, they got the idea from me because the idea for Django, I pitched to Jamie Foxx and Quentin Tarantino as the video for Gold Digger. And then Tarantino turned it into a film. But in that film, he puts a context, he creates a context where Leonardo DiCaprio is allowed to use the word multiple times within that context. So Hollywood's job is to frame things, and they allow what context, what content is accepted and what's not. We have our thoughts. Everyone has thoughts and ideas, and then people try to manipulate your thoughts and ideas. In order for humanity to move forward, we have to be free to think and then to actualize. I like the word actualize better than execute. If you think about execute's a negative word, actualize to be more positive, except for the fact that it has the word act in it. And everyone's an actor, especially in Hollywood.
So I believe he has a point about that, that we should have a right to be able to express ourselves freely and not have to be looking over our proverbial shoulders to see if, big tech or cancel culture is going to silence us for things that we know 30, 40, maybe even 50 years ago would not have been an issue. But since we know that we live in a society where people now can't even say anything about anybody that is true. Not talking about slander, not talking about defaming someone's character. I'm talking about making honest, truthful statements about people or things or their experience that they know is true without being attacked, without being canceled, without being silenced, without being having their livelihood stripped away from them. I mean, let's look at what happened over the past 2 years. You couldn't say anything about the jab. You couldn't give your own personal opinion regarding how you want your rights for your own body, your own autonomy to be protected. To say anything publicly that was against big tech or against big media, no. Well, what happened? You would get flagged, you would get canceled, you would get demonetized. Some people have gone as far as they have been deplatformed for expressing themselves and giving truthful content. I was telling my wife earlier today, and I'm going to say this now. There is a movie entitled "The Real Anthony Fauci." How many of you all seen that movie so far? If you haven't, you need to just Google it or type in "The Real Anthony Fauci," and you hopefully will be able to check it out. The reason why I'm saying that is because it's information and content like that the media, big tech, YouTube, whatever, they don't want you to know the truth about what has happened these past 2 years, and even further along than that. I would highly recommend that you check it out and see it. But Ye does have a point regarding this. Again, now I don't agree with everything that he said, but he does have a point regarding people trying to silence and trying to suppress and trying to restrict people who want to speak the truth about what they know and can back up as truth. And hey, I don't agree with everything that he says, but I got to give the man his propers, at least when he is speaking the truth about abortion, when he's speaking the truth about the left, when he's speaking the truth about the Black community, and even about his experience and his interaction with those who run these major corporations and companies, which are Jewish. That's not anti-Semitic. Those are facts. And it's not hateful. So when you watch this interview, and there was some pushback from Piers, because Piers wanted Kanye not to say Jewish businessmen. But let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask you a question. How many of you have heard people say Black businessmen or Black businesses? Why is it okay for us to say this is a Black-owned business, or this is a Black businessman, or this is a Black businesswoman or business person? Why is that not wrong to say? But it's wrong to say Jewish businessmen, or these people have said this, or these people have done that, as though Jews are innocent. No one is innocent. But if I have an experience about something or someone that has done something to me, how is that anti-Semitic, or how is that racist to say that? Now, of course, like you said, context is key. Context is definitely key. And I think a lot of people just want to dismiss context because they have issues with the person for what is being said. And that's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. But let's continue. Let's see. Let's go to the 8:40 mark. There we go.
Went to do the show last year for prison reform and to bring awareness to the incarceration of Larry Hoover. I sent him articles about the relationship of Matisse and Picasso, and the need for these people. You need to have that. I need to go into the bar and go to Starbucks. That's a form of a modern day bar, right? And just hear Drake's song playing back to back. And Drake needs to go into that same Starbucks just in a different city and see people wearing Yeezys. And it puts us both back into the studio. And, God sets up these almost similar characters, these doppelgangers. It makes me really realize God has a sense of humor. Like, why is John Galliano and Mark Jacobs the exact same human being, just placed in a different place? Or why does God have it where Bernard Arnault cannot purchase Gucci, not even through the Chinese market? God does this to remind us that we are not God. Because when you take people like Elon Musk and Bernard Arnault and Trump or Jack Ma, Putin, you take these people in their own space, in their own environments, we can start to feel like gods on earth, but we are nothing in comparison to God. And we are here actually to love one another and to collaborate and to make the world a better place. There's, 1% of the world are placed in power and 99% of the world are the audience. So that 1% of the world, this idea of a United Nations, this is the world that needs to come together. This is the world that, here's the obvious go-to. Biden doesn't listen to Elon Musk. The president of the United States does not have meetings with Elon Musk. That is, hey, here, come get me. That's retarded. I know I'm not supposed to say that, Biden, but that's retarded, Biden.
I don't know why that's funny to me. Not that he cursed, but the fact that he is checking Biden nationally, maybe even worldwide. Because here's the irony and the hypocrisy behind that. Now, I'll say this. Look, Dinah, I know. I'm like, okay, yep, and yep. At this point, here's where some of these same people who are getting at Kanye for saying that Biden is that Biden's attitude toward Putin is retarded or effing retarded, had no problem when people were attacking Trump and calling him retarded and calling him an idiot and calling him all these kinds of names. I'm not justifying. I'm just showing you all the hypocrisy behind it. That's all. That's it. Just showing you the hypocrisy behind this type of thing. I don't believe Biden's floor is going all the way to the top. I believe it's stuck between the first and second floor. Forget about the top floor. But that's proven, which is why he has people, his handlers protecting him from asking or answering any questions. But nonetheless, the fact that what Ye said, hey, is it true what he said? May not like how he said it, but the question is it true? Is it true? That is the question. So, but let's continue.
And it's and obviously, because I've been dealing with mental health, all this, I have the right to use whatever words that I like to use.
Well, that's interesting. So let me
ask another question.
Well, yeah, let me ask you on that. So you just said something very inflammatory about President Biden. It will, as you know, offend a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it will particularly offend people who work in mental health. You say you should not use a word like retarded. But you say that because you yourself have had mental health issues, that entitles you to use that kind of word as an insult. Now, I would say That's an arguable point.
I've had my issue is I've had mental health allegations.
So do you believe that you have any form of mental illness?
I believe that.
I wanted to stop right there because this is important. Notice people were calling him crazy. Remember that? People called him crazy, and he said no, he has mental health allegations. In other words, he's saying people are accusing me and alleging that I'm crazy. And he's going to explain himself throughout the interview. If you haven't watched it, I would encourage you to watch the interview in its entirety. But trust me, he's explaining himself more than what people are wanting to give him credit for. And for me, I want to be balanced in my assessment and in my critiques of people, regardless of whether or not I agree or don't like them or whatever. We're called to be people of balance and people of integrity. So he's about to explain himself regarding this. Lily, you said I still use the word retarded when it fits. Hey, I hear you, sis. I hear you. But let's continue.
That I suffered from exhaustion. I believe that I suffered from exhaustion. I suffered from being lied to constantly by the people around me. And I believe those things can drive anyone to a point of maximum exhaustion. But I also believe that I'm extremely brilliant and I'm here to make the world a better place. And I'm tired of the left media trying to pick on me. And y'all picked on me enough, and y'all finally touched the person that's not going to take it anymore. And that's part of the reason why I'm on Uncensored, because what they'd like is for me to be quiet. Interesting thing about racism and cancel culture, it's kind of similar, right? Racism works on itself. I can go into the Gucci store at age 18 and I just assume that people think that I'm about to steal, so I buy more things. With cancel culture, when I brought Marilyn Manson on stage with me when he was dealing with allegations, my stepbrother Marilyn was canceling himself. So many people comment on my White Lives Matter t-shirt. There's people who are saying right there in Fashion Week, when are you going home? I'm so afraid. People thought I was going to cancel myself. I'm not going to cancel myself. I'm going to keep on delivering what I feel, because guess what? It's very split opinions, by the way. If I talk to a Black person that makes under $1 million a year, they really relate to the George Floyd comments and feel hurt that I would even bring it up and question the approach. They have multiple documentaries on the death of JFK, but we're just supposed to believe this one media outlet version that preyed on our trauma and our pain. And then if I talk to rich Black people or white people, Jew or Catholic or atheist, they're really into the Jewish media comment because it affects their business interests.
Okay, well, look,
and it was really interesting.
Let me just pick you up on the two things you mentioned. The first one is what you said about George Floyd.
Now, before we get to the George Floyd thing, I just have to touch on this. Yeah, when he said his stepbrother Marilyn Manson, I'm like, bro, are you out your mind? Are you really out of your mind? Yeah, he said that. He did say the absolute. He said that. He said stepbrother. He said stepbrother. And here's the reason why I know and I understand. I totally understand why people will be apprehensive and will be reticent on affirming Ye as a brother. I totally get it. Totally get it. Totally get it. And here's the reason why a lot of people say, well, you know, no, he's not a Christian. He's not, he can't be saved. Now, again, This is where I believe, and I think Proverbs said it as well. Here's where if Ye is truly saved, then discipleship, and I'm talking about thorough discipleship with even follow-ups of evangelism to make sure that you know that your calling and election is sure, Ye. So if he meant that as in a salvific sense, or if he meant that just as, in a human or humanitarian sense. But as a Christian, no. But he also said this in an interview that Piers Morgan is Catholic, and he believes that Piers Morgan and Ye being Christian, that they worship the same God. No, they don't. No, they don't. Roman Catholics, if a Roman Catholic truly believes that Mary is co-mediatrix, or that Mary is the go-between between God and man and Jesus, no, they're not Christians. There's only one mediator between God and man, and that is the man Christ Jesus, not his mama Mary. It's Christ. But again, this is why I believe if Ye has people in his life that love him, that truly love his soul, and love to see him excel, and for God to truly use him, then they're going to tell him the truth. But Ye must be teachable. He must be teachable, because what can you tell a person that don't want to listen? Nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. So, but let's get to the George Floyd comment, because he goes in and on this discussion as well too.
And the reality of that, it's not a media interpretation of how he died, because the Hennepin County Chief Medical Examiner concluded that Floyd died from cardiopulmonary arrest. His heart stopped, complicated by the way the police restrained him and compressed his neck. Now, he also said there were other contributing conditions.
Wait.
Well, hang on, let me finish. There were other contributing conditions, narrowed arteries, high blood pressure, and fentanyl intoxication. But although these were significant conditions, he said, and things that played a role in the death, they didn't directly cause the death. The cause of death was what that policeman did with his knee to George Floyd. Person? Well, why would a coroner lie?
What makes you believe that?
Why would a coroner lie?
Because he could get paid to lie. Yeah, because he could get paid.
Now that's a good point. That's a good point. Piers is asking, why would the coroner lie? Like a coroner can't be paid off to lie. As if the coroner's office can't be paid off. I'm not saying that was the case with George Floyd, but I'm saying let's not act as though people in that field or people can't be paid off in these businesses, in these institutions, in these organizations. Let's not be so naive. And so I would agree with Ye in that regard. I'm not saying that the coroner's office lied, but I'm saying for Piers to act as though, well, why would they lie? Why would anybody lie? Why do you lie? Why do I lie? To cover up stuff, to lie, to hide stuff. That's why we lie. Doesn't make it right, but that's why we do what we do. That's why we sin. So I agree with Ye 100%. Don't act like the coroner's office is exempt from dishonesty and deception to make a narrative appear something to be what it is or what it is not. Let's not be so obtuse and stupid and naive to believe that. And I agree with Ye 100%. 100%.
To lie because
but yeah, I watched it. I watched it for
the
8 minutes.
The majority of the press.
Right, but I watched it for 8 minutes.
Now tell me this: have you seen the Candace Owens BLM documentary?
I have watched some of that documentary, but here's what I would say to you: when you watch that video of George Floyd,
no, it's not a but. It's not.
Well, I haven't watched the whole thing.
I need you to watch.
I know.
Okay,
I know what you said about. I know Candace.
I'm gonna finish.
Yeah.
La.
It's all right.
La.
You don't have to do that. It's fine. I know what it means.
La 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 means be quiet and let me finish.
But you
sir.
did interrupt my question.
So with the BLM, no, I wasn't finished. You're pressing agenda. You haven't seen the whole thing.
I don't have an agenda. I just read you what the coroner said.
So we can have 20 different perspectives on how JFK died, but us as Black people, not only can we only vote one way, we're not allowed to have any other perspectives, and that the area for George Floyd, where he passed, the murder rate is up 50%, and nothing, this is so-called movement, but it didn't move Blacks anywhere.
Right, now listen.
So me as a Black person.
I will say there are legitimate questions about the Black Lives Matter movement. No.
Now, did y'all hear what he said? Did y'all hear what he said? He said, I mean, Ye made a good point. When JFK was killed, how many different narratives were given? We heard about the magic bullet. We heard about, 5 people being strategically placed in the suppository building. We heard all of that. I think it's called the depository building. Anyway, I don't know if it's the depository building. I believe it was in Dallas. But we heard about all these 5 shooters, all strategically placed in the building that killed JFK. We heard it was Lee Harvey Oswald being the lone shooter. I mean, and still to this very day, people have theories regarding the shooting and killing of JFK. So Ye has a plausible point. Why is it that it's okay for us to have our views regarding the president being assassinated, but not someone being killed by the police? And he made another point. Black people only to think one way, and that is the Democrat way. It is. Look, that is a fact, and that's why I made the video about the Beto supporter coming to my door last week, 2 weekends ago, rather. Oh, no, last weekend, assuming that because I'm Black, that I don't vote Republican. Because I'm Black, I don't vote conservative. Because I'm Black, I vote Democrat. Because I'm Black, I vote against Trump. I vote against Greg Abbott. I vote against any conservative, any Republican that's in office because I'm Black. That is the mentality of the Democrat Party. And those are facts. That's why 98% of Black folk voted for Obama, not because of his policies, but because of his pigmentation. Because his policies were demonic. It was because he was Black, so they say, but his mama was white, his daddy Black. So, but anyway, let me continue on because I ain't trying to rant on that one. Let's continue on with the video. Let's go to we'll hit this one right here at the 16:30 mark.
Question. But on the specific point about how George Floyd died, I don't think it's in question about what actually killed him. It was that police officer with his knee on his neck.
Well, it isn't question. It isn't question. I'm questioning.
Well, you can
as
question
a Black
it, but
person
what you're questioning is a coroner report.
Do you have friends that were killed by police officers? Do you have friends that were locked up? Do you have people aborting half your race? No. So I am the Black person with the Black experience that's worth $11 billion and is the most influential person on the planet. And I am questioning it.
Okay.
I have a right to question it.
Absolutely.
You can't tell me with your accent that me as an American Jew Black person that I cannot question that death and question the means behind that was put on camera.
I'm not saying you
to
can't
traumatize. I'm not finished. La 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 means let me finish.
Okay.
I'm not finished talking. So I cannot see, because you distract my thoughts and then you try to make me look like a crazy person and you feel you have the right to cut me off. And I've proven you guys don't want it with me. This is like Terminator 20. You've never seen this before. You've never seen this before, so I want no one to play with me. I have the right to question because that videotape was used to traumatize my people and force us into the Democratic vote. Hey, George Soros, you're a real competitor. I respect you. I'm worth more money than you, and I have more influence than you, and have, Piers Morgan from a different country saying, well, I'm not going to do an English accent because that would be racist.
Yo, dude is swinging. He's swinging at the hornet's nest. Let's just keep it a buck. He's definitely swinging at the hornet's nest. Did y'all hear what this man said about Soros? Did you hear what this man said about the Democrat Party? Let's just call it. Let's just call it for what it is. Now, let me, Dinah. I got you, sis. I got you. And anytime I bring any future guests on and they start talking crazy or they cause them trying to talk over me, I'm gonna hit them with this. That's what I'm gonna hit him with, Dinah. I'm gonna hit him with that. I'm gonna hit him with that. When they start tripping, I'm just gonna go, okay, all right. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. But yeah, hey, Corey, I'm not saying, number one, he definitely has pride. So pride is affecting how he thinks. That's clear. But again, this is why, and I know you would agree with me, and many others would as well. This is why I believe, if he does not have somebody in his life, then it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse because we know God can humble anybody. We know that. I mean, come on, trust and believe that. But yeah, I'm going to I'm gonna use that joint when folks are talking crazy or whatever like that. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I agree. Be great. He's being bold where he needs to be bold at. I gotta take it. I gotta take it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? You said I don't take Kanye seriously. That Christian fan, he has some great points, but I tried with Kanye. But I understand, and I can listen. I can respect everybody's perspective because it's not like Ye is not giving us any reason to see him the way that we're seeing him on either side of this issue. But he's making some right points regarding the things that we know are true, and only those things that are true. Let's go a little bit over some more, and let me do this part here.
I accept that, but you try to say it is unquestionable because this one Dr. Fauci said this. I know it wasn't Dr. Fauci, but I'm just giving an example where we hear from even Google. Like people feel like, if you Google it, it's factual. There's so much non-factual information about me on Google, but then I still believe Google. And people pay to get certain information to the top of Google. But this is good. Keep going. Where else you want to go with it?
Here's where I want to go. The civil rights lawyer Lee Merritt responded to what you said about George Floyd's death and said, while one cannot defame the dead, the family of George Floyd is considering suit, which they're now doing. As you know, they're suing you for $250 million for Ye's false statements about the manner of his death, claiming Floyd died from fentanyl, not the brutality established criminally and civilly, undermines and diminishes the Floyd family's fight. So what is your response to that?
Well, anybody who loses a loved one, my heart goes out to them. Any race, my heart goes out to the pain of that. I have a theory about it. Now, this is not a fact. This is a feeling that I have. In the documentary, George Floyd's two roommates said that George kept saying, they want a tall guy like me. They want a tall guy like me. So for me, I'm a creative, right? I can make a dinosaur out of a femur, right? So if I'm making a dinosaur out of a femur, and I'm looking at a documentary that says George Floyd was telling his 2 roommates they want a tall guy like me, and on the day of his death, he prayed for 8 minutes. They said he prayed longer than he ever prayed. What do you think, me as a creative mind, the beautiful mind, right? The sensitive mind, what do you think I feel could have happened in that situation?
All right. Well, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I would say that because of your brilliant, beautiful, creative mind, as you put it, and I don't dispute that at all, you've got an extraordinary mind. And I can see that in the way that you conduct interviews. You go off on very long tangents, but they're sort of fascinating. I find it fascinating to listen to you. I'm not saying you don't have a right to question.
Sort of, quite. These are like Capote level fascinating tangents.
No, they're not. They're not. I'm just saying it's the way you conduct yourself, and I think that's very interesting.
What do you mean? Is or not? Why? Why is it? Oh, it's not Capote level.
Actually, I think
you Capote level.
If you
sort of,
if you would like me to compare you to Truman Capote, I am happy to do.
Okay, so this is going back and forth with the Capote, rant. So let me go ahead and move it to the 25-minute mark, because this is where it gets. And I even put little stars next to this one. This is where it gets rather interesting, and so check this one out.
I have a question. Who do you think are the biggest vow white racist? The media.
You think the media is racist?
What? Please, next question. Please don't ask me any retarded questions.
Okay, let me go to the next furore, which has been around you in the last couple of weeks, which is your attacks.
Is that British for theory? Is that British for theory? What's theory, bro? Is that British for theory?
You actually have quite a good British accent. That's quite good. Let me ask you, if I can, about the allegations that you have made anti-Semitic comments. And in particular, when you said on Instagram, I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Now, many people who are Jewish found that deeply offensive. They wanted to know, what did you mean by going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people? Because DEFCON 3, as you know, is a heightened state of awareness for military action. So what did you mean by that? Here's your chance to clarify what you meant by DEFCON 3 on Jewish people.
Well, thank you for allowing me to say what I meant, due to the fact that I was blocked by Jewish people after I said that. So I wasn't actually allowed to say what I was about to say. But what I was going to say is, I was going to talk about all of the contracts, all of the misdealings that I dealt with as an entertainer. Being that I'm an entertainer, I've been wronged so many times by Jewish businessmen. And the reason why I say people, if a black man is caught in the car with drugs or a gun, and there's 3 other black guys in the car with him, guess what? They're all going to jail. So the reason why I say people is, I want those businessmen's wives and fathers, mothers, grandmothers, and kids to ask them, why is Ye so mad at us? Because they're taking money out of my children's mouths and putting it into their children's mouths. I'll give you this parallel and this analogy. If you take, I just talked to Irina Shayk, right? And if you look at a picture of her at age 14, this person is beautiful, like one of the most beautiful people that God has ever created, right? And if any man did her wrong at a young age, she would get to the point where maybe she would actually hate men. You've heard that terminology, right? So I'm in a point where I'm frustrated. I have the right to my anger, and I'm saying that people need to fix it. I'm not going to fix what I feel until what I'm feeling is fixed.
Okay, can I respond?
You're not just going to shut me up and say...
No, I'm not going to shut you up. Can I respond to what you just said? My problem with what you've said, I'll be straight with you, is that if I, as a white man, posted tomorrow on my Instagram, I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on black people, what would you think?
Jew.
No, if I said black people, what would you think? If that was what I posted?
Well, did you accept that black people, you accepted that black people are Jew? Or
I'll come to that in a moment. On the specific, though, if I simply said, in other words, all black people was the implication of what I said, I would get rightly cancelled. I would get rightly vilified and abused. You, I suspect, would be outraged by a white person saying such a thing, because you wouldn't make any distinction about whether I was talking about certain black business people I'd fallen out with or whatever. You would think I was judging an entire populace by the color of their skin. You are, by saying Jewish people, on Jewish people, you're not saying Jewish businessmen, accountants, whatever, that you've had a problem with. You're basically saying in that statement, all Jewish people, which is why it caused such offense. And I'm curious whether you, even as you wrote those words, understood what Jewish people actually would feel when you said that, and didn't make any specific references to any individuals.
Maybe they would feel how all my people have felt. Maybe they would feel the pain of when a black artist looks up and they've completely been raped by 5 Jewish businessmen, and there's multiple accounts.
Why does the fact that they're Jewish have anything to do with it?
Maybe they would feel like that.
But why would you say
it just so happens they are?
Well, okay, but why categorize them according to their religious faith, their ethnicity? Why would you do that? Why can't you just describe them as business people that you've dealt with? That's fine, but what you're doing by saying Jewish people, these constant tirades, Ye, against Jewish people, many people find
why
that...
Why are you calling it a tirade? That sounds like you have it...
I think it's a tirade.
Where's the tirade? That was a tweet. It was a tweet.
It's not just a tweet.
And you asked me to explain it. And that, have you felt my pain yet? You haven't felt my pain. You don't want to feel my pain.
Well, no,
you don't hold accountability. You don't hold accountability to my pain. You're being a Karen.
I'm talking about. I'm not a Karen
to the pain.
I'm not a Karen, and I'm not going to cancel you, and I'm not going to uncensor you. I'm simply going to challenge you on what you're saying. I think you don't understand the pain that you've been causing with some of these comments, and I think that one in particular, I can understand.
Oh my God! God forbid! God forbid! One comment could cause people to feel any of the pain that my people have went through for years. Even like the blacks being ushered to the left during the civil rights movement. No one has cared about black people.
All right.
No one is.
Let me say, I agree that the racism against black people has been utterly deplorable, shameful, unacceptable, and thank God the world is beginning to move to a better place about the way it has treated black people like you. However, one form of racism, doesn't justify...
it's almost in a better place.
Well, one form of racism doesn't justify another.
It's not a better place.
I'm not cutting you off. I'm finishing my sentence so you can respond. One form of racism, it is racism when you say I'm going deaf for Jewish people. That's racism.
No, it's not.
It is.
I thought you had a platform where I could explain how I felt. You don't care about how I feel. You just want to shut me up. You don't want me to say out loud what my people have been going through.
I do.
Or do you?
I do. I'm very happy to do that.
So what have my people have been going through? What led me to that point?
My point is,
what led me, a person, a successful, influential, extremely attractive person to get to that point?
I am not doubting for a moment that you will feel genuine pain about the racism against you and other black people in America. Not for 1 second would I deny that.
Racism by who?
Well, by anybody. I think any form of racism is wrong. Any form of racism is wrong.
I didn't say DEFCON on anybody though.
You said DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, specifically Jewish people. You didn't say any particular Jewish person. You said basically all of them. That is racism, Ye. And I think if you were honest with yourself, given the fallout from this, you would think again about how you phrase that sentence.
Can I ask a question? Sure I can, because it's my live. Let me ask this question. First of all, him saying dear, I was gonna say that too. When he said he's extremely attractive, I'm like, yeah, you extremely tripping. But anyway, again, that's their pride talking, right? But what if Ye had said he's about to go DEFCON 3 on black folk? Put up a 1 in the comments, in the chat, if the media, if Piers Morgan, if TMZ, the left, what would have been the response if Ye had said, I'm about to go DEFCON 3 on black folk? And he explained that he was sleepy, that he was tired, whatever, boom, 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 the whole nine, right? He just changed the ethnic group to black folk. How many of you believe that he would have received the pushback that he's getting now? I hear you. I'm not justifying the stuff that he said that's off. God knows I'm not. I'm just asking for us to apply Proverbs 11:1, applying balanced scales and not unjust ones. How many of you put up a 1? Put up a 1 if you believe it would have been a problem that he would have received the same smoke for saying it about black folk, or put up a 2 if we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Son of John, you said no question, no pushback whatsoever. No pushback. No pushback. Hang time, like you said, it wouldn't even have been a problem. Atlanta, you said nothing. Dear, you said nothing. Quam, you said nothing. Christian Fam, you said nothing. Dinah, you so then here's a question. Here's a question, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm just asking. Then what's the problem? What's the problem? We know what the problem is. Somebody had put it up in the comment. I think Little T, you did. Jews are a protected class, just like the alphabet people are. They have become a protected class. And why is that? Nobody should be protected if they're wrong, right? Exactly, Christina. Yeah, they would have just said black people. Oh no, he did probably say, oh, he just on just an artist, just expressing himself. Exactly. Because listen, like he said on Drink Champs, when he gave that beat, analogy and said, I'ma F your B, I'ma shoot this nigga, I'ma F your B, I'ma shoot or kill this nigga. Nobody had a problem. Nobody has a problem when it's black on black hate or crime or anything like that. But you disagree with Jews, you disagree with the alphabet community, then they're coming for you. And you better know how to, like he said about his own dad told him, you have to know how to be sophisticated with your words. His own dad said that. So this is why it is important. This is why this conversation, like what he's having with Piers Morgan, we need to glean from this and see the hypocrisy and watch the hypocrisy. Piers trying to tell this man how he is to see his own offense. Now, not agreeing with what Kanye says, when he's off, and he's wrong. But we got to give some credence and give some weight to the thing that he's saying that is true. Let's see. Let's go ahead to, man, let me try to speed along with this. I'm not going to go through all of the markers. I wanted just to give you the gist on what. Yeah, exactly, bro. Draymond Green just publicly used a racial slur and called another black man a coon. Exactly. Straight silence. Nothing. You said, Donnie, do you think Ye growing up with his mom? Yep, I sure do. Matter of fact, Ye, he even admits it. He admitted that, I believe, in his interview with Tucker Carlson, how his mom took him away from his father. And that had an effect on him. It definitely had an effect on him. Absolutely. Totally agree, Kwam. He has to learn how to speak. He has to learn how to speak. The problem is that Kanye is not to speak against the practices and business dealings of those in the garment and entertainment way. Facts. Facts. This is going through the comment before I continue on with the interview. Much of the Jewish protective class is due to the evangelical skew PR to justify everything they do. Yep, and I agree. And I'm one who believes that God has a plan for Israel. I'm not, and I'm not trying to go into my eschatological views, but I don't believe that the church and Israel are synonymous. I believe that God has a plan for Israel. He has a plan for the church. But I don't believe that everything that Israel does is right. I'll be a fool to believe that. And neither do I believe black people are the Jews. Don't believe that either. But can we be fair? Can we be objective when it comes to things that people say, even though we may not, agree with how they may deliver it? I believe we can. I believe we can. Where are we with this? Let me go to let me go here. Let's see, because I got these ones that's in with the asterisks, so I want to make sure I get to these points here. Are y'all all right? We good, y'all? We good? Okay. All right. So let's continue on.
Our life is a symphony. We have so many beautiful ideas, but I feel the anti-Semite has been a wall, a cloak that allows Jewish businessmen, boom, I'll only be the police officer that says, hey, this guy with the gun is the only person going to jail. I'll be the first person that does that in history, right? So look, no one else in this car riding with the guy with the gun and the drugs is going to jail. Are you happy? I'll play by rules that are not played by for my people, just for the sake of this conversation.
I don't want you playing by any.
So
I don't want you playing by any.
That makes you happy, right?
I don't want you to say things just to make me happy.
That's what colonizers do, is give us rules.
I'm not trying to
colonize you. That's what colonizers do, is give us rules.
I'm not trying to colonize you. I'm not trying to censor you. All I'm saying to you is, when you use a phrase, like I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people.
Did you hear what I just said, though?
Yes, I did.
We're past that. We're past that in conversation.
Hang on. We're not past it.
Did you hear what I just said?
We're not past it unless you're prepared. Are you happy that I said I'll focus?
Let me explain are you happy that I said?
I know. I heard what you just...
brother, why are you talking over me?
Let me respond.
Chris.
I'm Chris. Let's respond. Let me respond, right? I'm simply saying what you've just said is not what you said on your Instagram post, and you know it, right? If you have a problem with particular businessmen who happen to be Jewish, that is a concern for you.
And you know it.
So you talk about all Jewish people.
But brother, what is the point? Brother, do you want me to grow from the statement? I just told you, okay, I was in a position where I've been hurt, and this is the way I had the right to express myself. The point of this interview is for you to question me, and then for me to answer and say, okay, even though the same rules are not applied to my people, if a person with a gun or drugs is pulled over and has 3 other people in the car, they're all going to jail. I'm not going to apply that to Jewish people for the sake of this conversation. Isn't that what you wanted? But you know what you did? You tried to civil rights me. You tried to pull me back to a week ago, but we're here today. There's been plenty of conversations and commentary since that, but you want me to go back to 1960.
No.
You want me to go back to 7 days ago.
All right, let me jump in. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to reflect.
Okay, so have we grown? Have we grown?
Here's how we grow. Yeah. Here's how we grow. I want you to reflect.
No, have we grown? Have we grown? You're not in charge of my growth. You're not in charge of my growth, Chris.
Okay, let me phrase it like this. I'm about to suggest to you how you may grow if you choose to grow this way. And you can ignore me. You can ignore me.
Pierce, how much money are you worth?
Not as much as you, sadly.
Exactly. So take my advice. Maybe you'll get richer.
I would love to take your business advice.
Why would I listen to you?
Why don't you hear what my advice is and then work out if I'm wrong? Can we do that deal?
You haven't given me any credit or a moment of reflection for the comparison that I made, the brilliant, if I do say so myself, comparison that I made to the cops pulling over one black person and locking everyone up.
I understand what you're saying.
And my tweet having issues. Wait a second, I wasn't done with the sentence. My tweet referring to all Jewish people. And I said, for the sake of this conversation, I will refer to the business people who have destroyed me and my people and my fellow creatives. But you didn't even accept that I gave you that. You tried to push me back into 1960.
No, I
you
didn't.
tried to push me back into last week.
No, I didn't.
Okay, do you accept that example that I gave you?
I understand completely the example you gave me. I think all racism is wrong.
So I feel that we've grown.
I would like you to reflect.
I feel we've grown. Do you feel we've grown?
If you've
Now, I wanted to add one point to what he said. I believe Ye's example is spot on. I do. And here's the reason why. Because his example about black folk being in the car, I'm just using this example, black folk being in the car, and we've told how many of you have told your children, if you got kids or relatives, loved ones, how many of us have told our kids, be careful who you hang with. Be careful who you get in the car with. Know the person who you're riding with, because if they have dope or weed or whatever in the car and you're with them, you're going down with them. Put up a 1 in the comments if you have. Put up a 2 in the comments if you have not. How many of us have heard that lecture to us by our parents, and how many of us have lectured that same sentiment to our own children? Put up a 1 in the comments. It's about, I'll get to you in a minute, bro. I gotta knock this live out. So you got to hold tight. All the time, right? Okay, so all of y'all saying it. All of y'all are saying, cool. All of y'all. Down to everybody saying it. We've all heard that, right? We've all heard that. It doesn't matter whether or not you were the one with the weed. What matters is you are in the car with the person with the weed. And so the police are not gonna say, well, you know, I didn't see you smoking. No, if there's drugs in the car, if there are guns in the car, and if it's unlawfully attained, then everybody is going down. And they're gonna have to work it out when they get to the station. They'll have to work it out when it gets in the courts. Yeah, I mean, come on. So Ye's analogy was spot on. And I got a little history video that I want to present to you all. Some of you old school hip hop heads, you may know who it is when I mention the name. But I'm going to play one video, but I'm going to show a still video of another because of copyright infringement by this particular YouTuber, which can't stand. But anyway, but what Ye is saying is spot on, folks. His example is spot on. We may not like the delivery, may not even like how he is saying other things. Yes, Ye is prideful. Yes, Ye has a problem articulating his thoughts. I got that. Yes, he is definitely arrogant when it comes to his persona. Totally get that. But I think we sometimes forget where God has delivered us from. What do you mean by that, Seiko? Glad you asked. Titus chapter 3, verse 1. Remind them, talking to Christians, talking to us, remind them to be subject to rulers, to authorities, to be obedient, to be ready for every good deed, to malign no one, and to slander no one, to be peaceable, gentle, showing every consideration for all men. Why? Why, Paul? For we also were once foolish ourselves. We were once foolish ourselves, disobedient, deceived, enslaved to various lusts and pleasures. That include pride, arrogance, narcissism, whatever. Our mouth, our language, spending our life in malice and envy, hating one another. But when the kindness of our God, our Savior, and his love for mankind appeared, he saved us, not on the basis of deeds which we have done in righteousness, but according to his mercy, by the washing and regeneration and renewing by the Holy Spirit. I believe we all need a daily dose of Titus chapter 3, verse 1 through 5. This is not to justify sinful behavior. But what this is, it should remind us all that when we got saved, not all of us turned over and turned away from our habits, quote unquote, immediately. This is why sanctification is progressive. This is why discipleship, personal discipleship, is important in the body of Christ. Now, please do not mistake what I am saying. I am not, and hopefully y'all know me by now, I'm not justifying sin of any kind. Of any kind. But can we at least, because here's the thing. Our life is not on display for everybody and their mama and them to see. It's not. But let's keep it a stack. Some of our lives are on display enough where people are still questioning whether or not we have truly changed. Hello? Come on. And so what has to happen? Time. 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 Give it time for the true, genuine fruit to grow. I guarantee you. That is the test of all of our salvation. Because it doesn't matter what you say, ladies and gentlemen. What matters is what we show. And this is about one instance. This is a pattern and progression of our life. That's the point. So, brothers, you got to hold off in the green room. I got to knock out these video segments. Just bear with me if y'all can, because I don't want to belabor this, but I want to make sure that everyone gets the context of this interview for those who didn't see it, and I want to make sure that I put this information that I have out, because I've been sitting on this for a few days now, and I want to make sure that I get everything that I need to get out before bringing anybody else on. But I promise you, give me some time and I'll get to you all in the green room. So appreciate you all's patience. But let me get back to this video. All right. So let's continue on. We are, let's see, 38. Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Now changed what you wanted to say originally. My question for you is, do you now regret saying DEFCON 3 on Jewish people? Are you sorry you said that?
No.
I don't think it matters. You should be.
Absolutely not.
You should be.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, but yeah, you should be.
Absolutely not. Are the people, the Jewish businessmen that led me to that place, are they sorry for the way they've raped my
I don't know who you're talking about in particular, but I don't know why you keep having to say they're Jewish.
The way,
what is the fact they're Jewish got to do with anything? Why do you keep doing that?
What do you mean? They're the Jewish businessmen that did that because
they're business people.
That's what they did.
Why do you keep saying Jewish business people? Why do you keep using their religion, their ethnicity? Why do you keep doing that?
Let me update it then. Okay, so I'll say this. Would I have grown into the box you want me to go on if I say to specify the business people that have raped my people that just so happen to be Jewish?
I think by doing what you've just done, I find that I'm not even Jewish and I find that offensive. Why do you keep having to do that? I don't think you get it at all. I don't think you understand the offense you're causing when you keep using their religious background, their ethnicity, as a stick to beat them with. Why would you do that?
So what are you more concerned about? Getting the richest black man of all time to kowtow, because it's not going to happen.
I don't want.
I hope y'all hear this dude's recalcitrance to not bow down to the opinions of a Piers Morgan and others who want him to change his position. So let me just go ahead and do this. Let me ask a question, okay? Let me ask all of you a question. How many of you all remember this record label called Def Jam? Put up a 1 in the comments. How many of you remember this record label called Def Jam? Def Jam. Not so deaf, but Def Jam. How many of you remember and recall that label? It's still around. You should know. Okay. So everybody in the comments, yeah. So everybody knows what Def Jam is. Okay. Let me ask you another question. Oh boy. Here we go. Y'all remember who this man is? How many of y'all know who this man is? You know who this man is? This is Leor Cohen. This is Leor Cohen. How many of you all know or remember who Leor Cohen is? Anybody? I know my sister does. I know my sister does. Yeah. Yep. Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin founded Def Jam. Absolutely. That is correct. That is correct, y'all. That is correct. That is correct. Yeah, that's Leor. This is Leor. This is Leor Cohen. Question. What ethnicity is Leor Cohen? Anybody know? Anybody know? Yes, Tony. Yes. Oh, come on, Esteban. Come on. But we don't want to talk about this. We don't want to talk about this, right? Remember the song remember the song No Vaseline? I know I ain't trying to take y'all too far back, but remember what Ice Cube said when he was responding back to MWA? He said, "But you let a Jew break up our crew." Now listen, I'm not affirming anti-Semitism at all. I'm just giving you all the context of that. So what? Yes, this is Leor Cohen, and his ethnicity or nationality is Jewish. Okay. Now I'm going to play this video because I don't want you all to make mistake and think that I'm making this stuff up. But let's let Leor tell you his mentality regarding hip hop and the black community in his own mentality and viewpoint regarding black people's destruction through music. Just going to play the video. Check it out.
Rough, particularly on women. But I think it helped change the course of the crack epidemic. I don't know what's this opioid thing, man.
But being a crackhead wasn't cool back then. Being a crackhead wasn't cool. Now it seems like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup and
it's the most dangerous. It's the most dangerous thing that's facing our society.
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. But I have to. I can't give up on people.
Don't you think that's hypocritical though? You're saying
it's opportunistic. Yeah. I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
You're gonna make Dame Dash take this clip and call you a culture vulture.
Who's Dame Dash? You brought him up. I don't even know him. So you bring his name up. I don't even know him. So
y'all made a lot of money together.
Made a lot of money.
Come on, Leo. Don't do that to him.
I don't know him. I really don't. So, I don't know what to tell you. I won't.
Do y'all hear this man? Do y'all hear this man? This man with a straight face said that he does not know who Dame Dash is. Oh, I cannot play this video. I can't play this video at all. But I'll post the link in the comments below. Okay? Or in the description. I'll put it in the description. But this Dame Dash and Leor Cohen, they know each other very well. But this is from Vlad TV, July 7, 2014, titled Dame Dash, Leor Cohen ruined Rockefeller. Yeah. Oh, definitely, dear. Definitely. Dame has some words for Leor. He definitely has some words for Leor. Yes, Jimmy Iovine, Jewish. Jerry Heller, Jewish. Yeah, I mean, these are, it's not slander if it's true. It's not slander if it's true, y'all. Remember that. Let no one deceive you or fool you. It's not slander if it is true. Rick Rubin, Jew. But we listen, we say this all the time. Black businessman, black this, black. I'm saying, yo, exactly. And that's why I'm not playing it, sis. That's why I'm not playing it. This dude is a trip. I do not care for Vlad. And to be honest with you, most black folk don't really care for him because they know how he is. But anyway, yeah, Tommy Mottola, facts, yo. Clive Davis. Yeah, I mean, so is it a lie? Is it a lie? Who's the owner of Interscope? Jimmy Iovine. It ain't Dre. This show ain't Dre. Forget about Dre. No pun intended. But anyway, let's get back to this video. Because I got a few more things to show y'all. Just bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm gonna take some coffee and no-dos tonight. Bear with me. Okay. So let me go to, yes. Let me go here. Y'all all right? Put up a one if y'all all right. Make sure y'all all right with your brother. Yeah, me too. Me too. Woman drowned in the tub and they downstairs partying. Anyway, but let's continue.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nobody that gets judged more than a straight white male. The straight white male has the least amount of a platform to even speak. A straight white male can't say, my wife hurt me today. And because people will say, well, you're hurting women. A straight white male can't say, hey, a black employee didn't come in to work on time, because then people will say you're racist. A straight white male can't speak on a homosexual person because they'll say you're homophobic. And so I empathize with the position of the straight white male. And part of the reason why I empathize with that position is because I know that I'm headed to that position. And what position that is? Top power position.
Okay.
That's the top power position where you that my words demand more sensitivity for the frequency that I'm operating at and and the amount of people that I'm communicating to. And I take that responsibility right now.
Now, I wanted to stop and respond about his comment about white people, the white males don't have a platform to say the things that they want to say. I don't know about that one. I mean, it could be. I mean, that could be. That's up for debate. That could be up for debate. That could be up for debate. I'm not going to say he's right. I'm not going to say he's wrong. I would say depending on who runs what. Now we do know that most people, most of the businesses that we see are ran by Jewish people. That's not. Listen, that is not racist, nor is that anti-Semitic to say that, if it is true. Now, if you're saying all these people, all these blank Jews are the ones that run, then that's different. That's different. But if you're stating a fact, then that's a fact. No, I mentioned about him being at Def Jam. I did not know because I haven't followed much of him. You said Leo Cohen is global head of music at Google YouTube. Not sure if I mentioned that. Well, mentioning it now, sis. Mentioning it now. The more you know. So that could be up for debate. That could be up for debate. But he's now about to explain and unpack a little bit more his words behind the things that he said and how he needs to work on that. So let's hear him out.
But I will also say everything happens for a reason. Because if it had been perfectly worded in English, and because there's nothing whiter than English itself, right? I'm already not speaking in my mother tongue, right? So if I had perfectly worded it in the most sensitive way, then we wouldn't be here right now. Now we're opening up the conversation. Like I'm not allowed to say whether or not I'm running for office in 2024, but I'll tell you what, if the left, let's say the left would have never supported me anyway. And now I've got to call to attention, I am who you should support. The left did not allow Trump to be president. They treated him like he wasn't even the president. So even then he won, he was losing half of the American people every day, and it divided the country. What I'm saying, whoever goes into office, for British media, for American media, we must support our leaders and not just run this hyper negative. You know what I will? And Black people hate when I apologize for this. When I see people like John Legend and Chrissy Teigen talk down on the president, I'm like, wow, that kind of sounds like me. That kind of sounds like the telethon. I opened up this level of disrespect towards our leaders. And people were happy. And the left saw that and say, well, let's just have every celebrity do what Ye did at the telethon. So I take responsibility for that moment. And you know what? I just want to give every Jewish person a big hug. Also, I'm envious of the Jewish people. I'm envious of how they don't abort their children. I'm envious of how they don't shoot each other in the streets and then rap about it. I'm envious of how their families stay together. I'm envious that they turn their phones off on Friday night and the family comes together. I'm envious of how they do the business together. And I want that for the darker Jews. I want that for the Black people. I want that. We need that. God said we should remove the word want, right?
Okay.
We're going to have that.
Okay.
And this is the beginning of it.
But it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that you are acknowledging, as you've just acknowledged that it was wrong to say what you said about President Bush when he said he doesn't care about Black people, and that may have encouraged all this disrespect towards presidents since. I think it's an interesting point you made. It does seem to me, Ye, talking to you, that even if it's hard for you to admit this, that you do regret the wording of that tweet which caused all the problems, and you wouldn't phrase it that way again. Am I right?
I would tell my dad that. My dad loved the White Lives Matter t-shirt because what audacity does a Black man have to wear the exact same t-shirt that a white man could wear? You know, and my dad was a Black Panther. I mean, we have a water purification center, you know. He's like the original Steve Jobs.
Right.
He's the educated version of me, right? And he liked both of those things, but he said, you know, Ye, he even calls me Ye now. He's like, Ye, you've got to be more sophisticated with your wording. And that wording, like I said, I'm a bit sleepy. And it lacked the sophistication needed to be the true conductor that I am. Because it's the conductor's job to bring people together. And that was divisive,
right,
which is not who I want to be.
Right. So
so I'll tell you that. I'm not looking. And also, let me put
sounds
out
like
right now.
So it sounds like you agree with me. Do you agree with me then?
I want to talk. Okay, let me say that I'm just thinking right now what's on my heart is the idea for people who do actually have severe mental health issues. You know, the word retarded for, you know, there's parents that have children who actually are mentally ill, and that word is really offensive,
right,
to those people.
So why use it?
And just because I was feeling well, it's a couple reasons. Because people call me retarded, they treat me like I'm retarded, and so I embrace it. It's like you call somebody a so much, they say I'm. You call somebody a bitch so much, they say, I'm a bitch. You call somebody a retarded so much, you say, I'm retarded. Like, I was exhausted, and I embraced the idea of having a serious mental health issue. But Noah, I mean,
I want to touch on a couple of points. Number one, Notice what his father told him. Okay. Notice what his dad told him. Notice that his dad told him, you need to be more sophisticated with how you communicate and what you say. That's huge. What it shows me is that he has respect for his father still. It shows me that he's willing to listen to somebody like his dad. I hope and pray that God can maneuver, or that God will maneuver, I pray, in that situation and bring somebody either like his dad or his dad, if his dad is truly a Christian, to help him to understand that, yeah, your words carry more weight than some of these other artists out here. If you are truly saved, what an opportunity to see God move in this man's life by the power of the Holy Spirit and be an agent for change. He's already upsetting and pissing off a lot of people by talking about how the Democrat Party is trying to get rid of black folk through Planned Parenthood. I mean, that's huge, because these other artists aren't doing that have the kind of platform and stance that he has. So I guess my thing is that I'm holding fast to that which is true. I'm applying in my mind 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Hold fast to that which is true. Okay? Hold fast to that. Exalt that, promote that which is true, and abstain from any and every form of evil. So the Marilyn Manson stepbrother thing, trash that. That's garbage. That's crap, Kanye. You hit your head. Go to sleep. But anything regarding the black community that we can find factual, that we can find that is true, we need to hold on to that. We need to help promote that. We need to point people to that information, because that is what we're called to do. I used to hate the phrase "spit out the bones and chew on the meat." I used to hate that phrase when I was growing up as a Christian. Because in my mentality, in my mind as a new believer, like, okay, wait a minute. Why if I gotta throw out the bones, and I don't need the meat. And that understanding that as a mature person, if you know how to use a knife, you can cut that meat and cut it out, and then even help the person who is unskilled in cutlery to know how to eat meat, or to teach them and show them, especially trying to break up bones in fish, or take out the meat or the bones in the fish. It's going to take skill. It's going to take discernment, because what may look like meat may be a bone. So if you're skilled in knowing how to take apart those things that could be harmful to the person who just want to eat whatever goes in their mouth, it is beneficial for you to help that person. So I'm praying that a person like Kanye or Ye is able to have people in his life to help him grow, if he is truly saved. And ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, people and peepettes, isn't that what we want? Hello? Don't we want to see people saved? Or you just want people that you like to be saved? Or in the time, in the fashion that you should be saved, or you want them to be saved? Then who's really God? Because again, there's only 3 members of the Trinity, not 4. And how would you want God to treat you if you are treating other people the way you're treating them? And I'm talking to myself as well as everybody here on this live and anybody that will be watching this video later. I am not, hear me good, get the wax utensils and get it out and put it in your ear holes and pull out that wax. And that wax will look like slow pokes. I'm not saying that we are to excuse sin of any kind. That is not what I am saying. When it's sin publicly, we call it out publicly. I don't give a crap who it's from. We call it out. But can we give some time? Sanctification ain't like your cake, where it only takes what? An hour, maybe 90 minutes to finish? I don't know. I ain't a baker. I have to ask my wife. Sanctification is a process. If it is genuine salvation, then there will be sanctification. There will be some growth. There will, and listen, it ain't gonna be 100 because you may be a 100-fold Christian. Somebody else may be 30, but don't you diss the 30 because you are 100. And don't look down on the 60 if you are 100, and don't act as though because you are 60 that you ain't never been a 30. Because all of us have had levels and places that we had to grow and to move from glory to glory in. That's all I'm saying. I'm not justifying. I'm not justifying sin. What I am saying is, if Ye is a Christian, I'm gonna give it time. Oh, just like I did for Lecrae. Hello. Just like I did for Marcus Rogers. Hello. What I want to be is consistent. I don't want to be consistently inconsistent. That's all I'm saying. I don't know about anybody else. Just speaking for myself then. Maybe I'm preaching to myself. But that's fine. I'll go there with that. Let's continue on. I'm sorry for holding y'all, but I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Almost done. Because I got another surprise. And I have a question for some of y'all too. I do. I have a question. Because I've been getting crickets with this question. So maybe I have enough people in the room that will be able to answer this question for me, because I have questions and maybe y'all can give me some answers. Okay, so don't go nowhere. I got a surprise. All right. I do have a surprise, and hopefully y'all will be able to help me answer it.
So now what I think you should say, I think you should say to the Jewish people, I'm sorry for the offensive language I used in that tweet. I wouldn't do that again. This is what I really meant. I think people would respect you if you said that. I don't know why you can't just say that.
You know when I'll say it? When I sit down with the people who write out the contracts for the NBA and for the NFL and for professional music and for acting contracts. We need to go to the top lawyers, the top execs, the owners of the stadiums, the owners of the football teams, and the owners of the record labels. And we're going to put them all in one room. And we're going to read let's go top 10 in each one of these categories, right? Let's read Michael B. Jordan's
contract. Why would any of that? Okay, but why would any of that? Why would any of that?
Hey, bro, I ain't finished my sentence.
Nothing you're saying has anything to do with regret.
Hey, boy.
Don't call me boy.
Don't finish. I told you. Oh, don't treat me like a boy then. I'm going to finish my sentence and my idea.
Nothing you're saying has got anything to do with the tweet.
Cool. Bro, I was in the middle of a sentence, boy. Okay, so are you going to...
I had to stop it right there. Listen. Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, yeah, he didn't snap. All I would say is this: let's keep it a stack again. Let's reverse it. Let's flip it. Let's invert it. If Pierce were the guest and Ye were the interviewer, and Pierce called Ye a boy, all Hades and hell would have broke loose. Tell me if I'm lying. If I'm lying, just put up in the comments, say, Seiko, you lying. Stop slandering Ye. If the situation in the interview was reversed and Pierce had called Ye a boy, y'all know it would have been smoke in the city. It would have been smoke in the city. It would have been smoke in the city. Listen. Respect ain't based on color. It's based on the Imago Dei. Because listen, he wasn't saying boy, like boy, you crazy, boy. No, it was boy, like boy. That was lack of respect. That's out of pocket. Ye out of pocket. He wrong for that. Period. Because if the situation were reversed, If the situation were reversed, he'd have been called a racist. And in the words of Michael Evans on Good Times, boy is a white racist word. So let's just keep it a stack. All right. I'm only going to play maybe 3 more segments. I'd encourage you all to watch the video in its entirety, and you can check it out yourself. Yeah, he tried to son him. He tried to son an elder. And yeah, he definitely went Chi-Town. He went Chicago, but it was a lack of respect, like Tony said, and he needed to apologize for that. But let's continue on, and we'll because I gotta get to the surprise. I can't end this live without presenting this last question, because I need this question answered, and maybe my brothers and sisters in the live will be able to help a brother out. All right.
Because the things I say are on behalf of God. Like, it's not always godly because I'm a man, but God is definitely using me. You're Catholic faith?
I am.
What's
yes.
your background?
I am
What's your
Catholic.
religious?
Catholic, yeah.
Well, we're working for God here.
No, Ye, we're not working for God. If what Ye means is that we're both on the same side, if Ye is a Christian and Pierce is a Catholic, can a Catholic be a Christian? It depends on who they believe Jesus to be. I don't tell people a Catholic can be a Christian and just leave it at that. No. What does that Catholic believe about Jesus? Are there misinformed Catholics that are Christian? Yes. But those are case by case. But as a broad statement, no Catholic who embraces Roman Catholicism is a Christian. You are not. No different than a Muslim, no different than Jehovah's Witness. It is what you believe about Jesus. You know, the whole Matthew 16, who do men say that I am? Yeah. What you say Jesus is? Because he's more than Mary's baby. Oh, he's more than that. So what you believe about Jesus determines whether or not you belong to him. So no, Piers Morgan, if he's a Catholic and he's a Roman Catholic and he has not embraced the biblical Jesus and has not placed his faith and trust in Christ, then he needs salvation just like the person on the street who does not know Jesus at all. Period. Now, do what you want to do with that, but that's the Bible.
And it's just like with Black people now with entertainment, we're coming into wealth, but all the other, Black people with anywhere near my amount of wealth would never cross the lines of, taboos inside of the media that I would, that actually we used to in rap. All these words, we used to say these. So it's all these like words that are being removed from our vocabulary, words that evoke emotion. Don't you feel like the salt is being taken out of our food? Look at Dune. The people who control the salt controlled all the money. And people are trying to control the salt, and it's salt in our language. That's why I will not apologize for having a bit of salt in my words. I will say, hey, this can be improved on, but it's like, hey, look, I'm an update. You're looking at the God's iPhone 100. We are God's iPhone, right? If you think about it, we're his favorite creation. We were made in his image, and we need updates. And society, capitalism, media, and thought police have been stopping us from our updates. We have to have a thought, and then we have to actualize it. I like the word actualize better than execute, because execute's a negative word. We discussed this. We have to actualize. There's so many, think about, for a homosexual kid, age 12 at school, not wanting to say out loud how he felt, or feeling like if he said how he felt, he would get bullied. Or what if he said how he felt and then somebody said, you said the way you felt and what your experience was in the wrong way. Now you need to apologize. We're fine that you felt that way, but you need to apologize for the way you said it. But just having the courage to do it in the first place would be, that's the thing that needs to be given credit. Like, yeah, you know what? We'll say in this past 2 weeks, I made a big splash. Because the first time you dive in the deep end, you're not going to look like an Olympic swimmer, but we're going to have to learn how to swim. And I've dived in the deep end.
Okay. I think
he made some interesting points. He said he can improve on his words. That's to be highlighted. That's to be highlighted. Play two more and then I'll get to the end of my my presentation. Let's go to the one. I'm gonna go just speed forward to the 112 mark. Let's see. Okay, here we go.
Do covers like Interview. And that's what happens when they take the dads out the home. And that's what they've been doing in the hood. They take the fathers and the leaders out of the homes. And if we keep on allowing this to happen and we don't have some level of a decency clause inside of our media on what everyone sees, like when I was young and I would go to the video store, if I wanted to go into the adult section, it was a curtain, it was a person sitting there watching, making sure that kids didn't go in. If the kids went into that section, there was a video camera and they would have you be escorted out of that section. Now that section is forced through TikTok. That section is subverted and kind of mixed with the drink inside of music directed at children, inside of content through Disney, on Hulu, which is Disney also, and in so many branded commercials to confuse children and to sexualize our children way too early before they can even make their own decisions about their life.
Now, near the end of this video, which I'm going to go to now, he's going to apologize. But the media doesn't give you the full context in what he said. They just call him anti-Semite, called anti-Semitic, or whatever. But notice what he said about the dads. Notice because one of the questions that was asked of him was his relationship with Kim Kardashian and does he see his kids and things of that nature. And Pierce wasn't really informed about his marital status because he did not get the information, I guess, that Kanye had been divorced. So Kanye had to let him know that yes, I'm divorced. But he said, I'm still a part of my children's life. And I will always be the priest of their home because I'm their father. I mean, that takes guts to say that. That really does. And you have to give this man credit where credit is due about these things, because what other artist that that has the platform that he has that are making statements about the Black family, about babies being aborted, Black babies being aborted in the womb? And he's saying it on much grander platforms. Jay-Z ain't saying it. Beyonce ain't saying it. They're not saying it. Why? Because if they were to say it, they'll be treated just like he's being treated. And I agree. You can't call him a coward. You may call him quote unquote crazy. I can't say that he's crazy. I say that he needs to make sure that he understands and knows Christ and his walk, if there is a walk with him. But I'm not gonna call this man crazy. But he gives his near the end of the video, and I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to that marker. He gives his his thoughts about, apology, because at the beginning of the video, look, he was tight. He was tight. And he ends up, circling back on some things and gave a better explanation behind why he said the things that he said. And the interview, I believe, it ended fairly well. So I'll let you check it out.
I think I'll go ahead and do. I feel that I've given the platform, and I think by holding the idea of an apology hostage is not godlike.
Correct.
I feel like we have to free. Yeah, and I think that's the point that you've been making. And because we sat down and had this conversation, I will say I'm sorry for the people that I hurt with the DEF CON, the confusion that I call. I feel like I cause hurt and confusion. And I'm sorry for the families of the people that had nothing to do with the trauma that I had been through, and that I use my platform where you say hurt people. And I was hurt. I was frustrated. I was frustrated that Gap hadn't opened stores. I was frustrated that I spent time with a gentleman who I love him, his wife, his kids, David Simon, and to open stores. And then he called Bob Martin at Gap and said, I'm not going to open the stores. And I've just been frustrated. I just want to open my widow stores. And I want to say that it's wrong to hold an apology hostage. And I got to let go of that and free myself of the trauma and say, look, I'm just going to give it all up to God right now and say to those families that I hurt, I really want to give you guys a big hug. And I want to, I say, I'm sorry for hurting you with my comments. And I want to word it in not in like a political way, but in a presidential way, which means what I knew a president to be when I was growing up, in a sincere way. You know how people give those kind of, I want to give an apology, and you're like, but did you? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, no, it has to be, I want to go to every person's grandmother and grandfather and every person's son and daughter, aunt and uncle, and give them a hug and say, you know what? I've been hurt. And I do want you to talk to your boys. I do want you to talk to the people that are in power, the people who do own the Black voice, the people who do own the Black vote, which a lot of Jewish business people do. And I want to be able to sit at the table with the contracts. I want my people to sit at the table with the contracts. I do want all of this, but I'm not going to hold my apology hostage till I get that. I'm going to start by taking accountability for my actions and the lack of sophistication in my wording. Like I said, I was sleepy, and it was taken in a way that I didn't mean to be taken. It definitely caused some attention. But I don't want the conversation to go away just because I came to you guys and said, I understand how I hurt you, and I'm sorry for the pain that I've caused and the confusion that I caused. Now, that is said, right? But I don't want the conversation to go away, that we are still in a place where these contracts are still up. My people are still getting screwed. This has to be opened up. And I'm not asking for a promise, but it would be a beautiful world as I release the pain that I've caused and the pain that I have in me, that grudge that I was holding, that you guys, some of you guys, 1, 2 of you guys step up and say, let's look at these contracts. Let's make it not be a known fact that the music industry is treacherous. Let's make because some of my kids do music. I don't want them to step into a treacherous place. I want it to be better for them than it was for me. So I want us to sit down and come together and really work on that. Would that make sense to you, Pierce?
You know what, Ye? If you'd simply said that in your tweet, I don't think there would have been any problem. And I'm very, very pleased, actually, that we've got to a place where you felt able to say that. And I think it was sincere. And
but we still have a problem. That's my point.
No,
Pierce.
I get it. I get it. But what you've now done, you've now explained the context of the problem. And you also issued a sincere apology to people who were rightly offended by the way you phrased what you said. So I think that's a good place to finish the interview. And I'm very glad you got there.
Okay, but it's not finished.
I understand.
The idea is not finished.
I understand.
That there's still a problem.
I understand. No one's going to be in any doubt there's a problem. And by the way, I'm sure there is. I'm sure that a lot of the contracts in the music business are rigged against people like artists like yourself. I'm sure of it. I mean, it's always been the case from Elvis onwards. So I get
Pierce,
it.
Would you help me and my people? Would you help me and my athletes? I got so many athletes that go to my school that are like all the guys that are on Donda are headed to the NBA, right? Could you help me? Could you help us make these contracts better for our people by calling attention, by just allowing me on your platform, right? And let's look at some of the things and point these things out. Could we work together on
Absolutely
that over the next
happy
couple of years?
Very happy to do that.
Yeah.
Very happy to do that. I think we should talk more often.
All right.
It's taken a long time to get here. I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. It's been 2 hours. It's been free rolling. It's been occasionally challenging, but we've got to a place where I think is a good place, and I've really enjoyed it. So thank you very much indeed, Ye, for sparing me the time.
Yeah. You know, I'm gonna feel like I lost my stone I was holding.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I had to give it up to God. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
You know, you're gonna be bragging. You're gonna be bragging at dinner tonight, like, yo, I talked to Ye. No one could do it. No one could do it. I did it. And you know, I'm giving you this, and I'm gonna pray that you, as a fellow believer in Christ, will help me to expose all the wrong that's still currently happening to my people, specifically in the entertainment industry, because
honestly, I'm very happy.
To start with.
I'm very happy to hold anyone to account who is behaving improperly, honestly. And I'm absolutely certain that entertainment business is riddled with people who try it on and exploit people. And I would be very happy to help you to expose that. But for now, I've got to leave it. Ye, we've had 2 hours. It's been remarkable. Thank you very much for your time.
Peace.
So that was the majority of the interview. Again, I would encourage you to watch it in its entirety, that way you can check it out. So let me do this one more thing, because I don't want to belabor this point too much. But I have a question to ask you, because this ties in. Remember, this is one of the questions I had asked on my live, and the questions was not only is, you know, do you believe that Kanye is anti-Semitic? Do you believe that he should apologize to the Jewish community as a whole? Well, he did. Do you believe that Ye has mental issues? Do you believe? Hold on. Do you believe that he is a Christian? Do you believe he is a Christian? There's been up and down, you know, regarding that. I understand that. But here's a question I want to ask. And hopefully my stream is not getting crazy. I think I got like 1 bar. Not really sure why. But anyway, here's the question I want to ask. Do you believe that Candace is helping or hurting Ye? Do you believe that Candace Owens is a help or a hindrance, or she's actually, you know, hurting Ye? And I'm going to share my screen because I want to know a lot of you who watch this, you know, live and who may watch this video later on. I know people in my comments on Facebook, anytime I make a statement regarding Candace, or things that she says or things that she does, or her run-ins with other Black conservatives, and I say something in response to that, or the things that how she carries herself and how she responds to certain things regarding the Black community, you know, I ain't the only one. I'm just one of the ones that have a microphone, and I give my disagreement with it. But a lot of my white conservatives come to her defense. And begin to question my loyalty to a party instead of the person of Christ. Well, I thought we were all on the same team. I thought, well, no, my team is Christ. I'm Team Jesus. That's the team I'm on. That's who I rock with. That's me. Just saying. And so I don't care who you are, but if you are acting as though that the black community is just, just trash, or you're really helping the black community when the opposite says otherwise, then I just have concerns with that. But one of the main issues I have that I have yet to hear a response from anybody, and maybe you don't know, but you won't have any excuses after tonight. Here's the question, and I guess this resonates with me because it has happened to me. What do you do when you find out that someone has stolen your stuff? And you know they stole it. Whether it's a brand, whether it's, anything. I mean, what do you do when you know that somebody jacked you for your stuff? And now they've co-opted, and now they are using it for themselves and have not given you any credit, let alone acknowledgement for it. And now they have taken it and made it their own. What do you do? I mean, you know what happened to me. You had the mob and people like Michael Williams took my brand and tried to bruh-man it and make it his own. But real recognizes real. So what do you do? What do you do when a person that you thought, originated something, but they didn't, and give no credit to it? You said it depends on if you had it copyrighted. So and legally that's true, or trademarked, right? Legally that's true. But I'm talking to Christians now. I'm talking as Christians. How are we to deal with our fellow brothers and sisters in Christ, let alone our neighbor? Don't even have to be a Christian, but our neighbor. Well, I'm going to ask this question, and I'm going to populate the screen again. All right, can I do that? Is that okay? Thank you. All right, here we go. So, this what I'm about to share with you, I would like to know why this young lady has had her merch, her brand co-opted by Candace, and nobody on the conservative side has said anything about it. Quote, I was shocked. Founder of Original Blexit threatens Candace Owens with legal action. November 1st, 2018. Candace Owens has been using the term Blexit to encourage black people to leave the Democratic Party. Should have said Democratic Party, it should have said. However, the term had already been established as a pro-black movement for more than 2 years before Owens tried to recklessly co-opt it. According to the Real Blexit Group, quote, Blexit is a strategic movement towards black independence through economic boycotting, civil disobedience, and organized investment into the black economy. We will no longer participate in or contribute to a community that condones our intentional demise, end quote. Mila Connolly, the founder of the Original Blexit, spoke out on Thursday for the first time and was threatening legal action against Owens. Quote, I was heartbroken. I was shocked, Connolly said on the Clay Kane show on Sirius XM Urban Channel 126 about learning the term was being used by Owens, who has made a career supporting the president. Quote, I was saddened, angry, and afraid. I think I was pretty paralyzed in the beginning, just trying to process what was happening and what to do about it, end quote. Connolly explained that her Blexit began after the shooting of Philando Castile in July 2016. A tweet from her group shortly after Trump was elected confirmed that. As you can see, it is right there. Open an account at a black-owned bank, we need to show up like white women showed up to vote for Donald Trump. This is a Blexit tweet. The concept of Blexit was around exiting systems that benefit from our pain and using economic resistance as a tool to approach and deal with oppression and racial inequity, she said. The idea was around organized boycotting with an invest, divest approach. She continued, quote, that hashtag has been used by activists and organizers all across the country who had been uplifting the concept of economic resistance in their own ways. We've been really proud to lead in that space, end quote. Connolly said she wasn't sure if Owens chose the term Blexit, knowing it was already a movement in its own right. People were talking about it, and maybe someone in Candace's position thought it was an easy way to swoop in and take the trajectory and move it into whatever space they wanted, which is unfortunate, Connolly said. I hope that this wasn't intentional. She says in her latest blog, that post that she came up with this idea in February 2018, we've been working on this for a couple of years already. Connolly said while her organization never filed for a trademark, legal action against Owens has begun. We were a decentralized movement. We're proud of that. We weren't edging towards trademarking or anything like that, but because of this, and because of the fact that Candace had filed for a trademark for Blexit back in August, we've had to start to take legal action, end quote, she said. We served her with a cease and desist as of this morning, and we are prepared to take legal action if she doesn't honor that, end quote. Yeah, no, Esteban, she didn't invent Blexit, but we're talking about from a biblical standpoint, brother. Talking about from a biblical standpoint. The gravity of the situation led Connolly to this point. She said, quote, there's too much at stake at this point to allow a movement so important to be just co-opted for political stunts. This is something that we've had to do, that we have to do. We know that our pledge members for our Black-led credit union that's coming in 2019 from members of Blexit that have been supporting our work for the last 2 years. Blexit activists all over the country deserve better, Connolly added. They don't deserve to have their movement swept out from underneath them. As a small volunteer-led organization, we didn't have the money to buy the Blexit.com domain. We didn't have the money to initially go out and pay a lawyer to do trademarks, which a lot of grassroots organizations don't have. It puts us in a very vulnerable position to have to move quickly to protect this, and we believe that it's worth it. And here is the interview, a portion of the interview, and I'll play it. And let me know if you hear it. I'm gonna put my mic on mute to make sure that there's no echo on this area here too. So let me know if you hear it. Put up a 1 if you can hear the video or the audio.
Is there a lawsuit that you can file? Did you have this trademarked? Is there any kind of they can be remotely punished for co-opting and taking an important slogan and movement?
Yeah, as you know, we, like I mentioned earlier, we were a decentralized movement. We were proud of that. We weren't, edging towards trademarking or anything like that. But because of this, and because of the fact that Candace had filed for a trademark for Blexit back in August, we've had to start to, take legal action. And so we've served her with a cease and desist as of this morning, and we are prepared to take legal action if she doesn't honor that. It's really unfortunate that it has to go in that direction, but there's too much at stake at this point to allow a movement so important to just be co-opted for political stunts.
All right, let's see. Is there anything else in there? Social media called out Owens over the weekend for going public with an approved version of Blexit. African Americans started a campaign called Blexit last year. Campaign encourages blacks to bank with black-owned banks. Blacks exit white banks. Now, Kanye West has stolen the campaign and is making it a blacks join Trump campaign. And that's just one of them. Another article. And this is the young lady here. Minneapolis-based Blexit threatens trademark infringement, legal action against Candace Owens. This is in November 14, 2018. Absolutely, David, and that's my point. That's my point. Yes, yeah. Candace is not a Christian. She's not a Christian at all. She's made that clear. Now she uses Christianese, but it is what it is. But let me read a portion of this article. So this is Lamia Connolly right here. Malia, I think. Malia Connolly, excuse me. Malia Connolly, that's her. I was trying to get her on as well too, been trying to contact her, but I'm not, wasn't able to do so. Yeah, I agree. I mean, she's gonna have a hard time proving it now. I mean, I agree. I'm just looking at it from an ethical standpoint. That's all. Especially if it's been established on social media that this brand has been something that I had used. Yeah, you're gonna have to go through the legal stuff of trademarking it. Trust me, I know that. But I'm looking at things from an ethical and biblical standpoint. Candace Owens, a conservative pundit, launched a Blexit campaign where she calls for Black people to leave the Democratic Party. Problem is, Blexit already exists, and it has nothing to do with President Trump or the Republican Party. And the founders of the True Blexit say Owens, who has been an avid Trump supporter, has collaborated with white-ring conservatives. Of course, needless to say, you already know that she's most likely a Democrat, and Candace is not. She's conservative, right? But it is what it is. It says, and they say her approach, I'm at the first paragraph, and they say her approach is antithetical to the real Blexit organization. The Minneapolis-based nonprofit formed in 2016 has served Owens with a cease and desist letter. Malia Connolly came up with the term Blexit, which is a playoff of Brexit, said Jonathan Banks, a co-founder of Blexit. It was about Blacks needing to exit the financial system, which is part of the system of oppression. It is about starting to build a system that can support us and be a healing institution for this country. Since its formation, which came after as a result of the police killing of Philando Castile in Falcon Heights, Blexit's national reach has shown up through work like the Black Transfer Challenge in 2016, participation in the 50th anniversary of Southern Cooperatives in 2017, and chartering a credit union. So here's some of the evidence right here. A proposed Black-led credit union on the north side of Minneapolis. Blexit has a membership that spans the United States with members in almost every state and some international. Connolly said that the True Blexit is a national movement addressing the racial disparity and oppression through economic activism, and it was galvanized to deploy economic campaigns resulting in community-owned financial institutions, equitable lending, and an increase of investment in Black-owned banks and credit unions in 2016. She said the movement is crucial to the future of Black Americans who are expected to have a net worth of 0 by 2053. The attempt to co-opt the name Blexit by political right-wing activists is a direct attack against the hard work being done to combat economic injustices in the state with the second worst racial disparities in the nation, end quote, said Connolly in a statement. Hashtag Reclaim Blexit is a direct response to the attempted co-opting of the True Blexit movement and confronts the false narrative of Black political conversion and asserts Black economic power as the foundation of the Blexit creed. Blexit is in its nature is not a political agenda that upholds division, but a theory of change to collectively build new systems that benefits Black Americans. And that's just the gist of that. Another article is this. Kanye West says he wants nothing to do with Blexit apparel. I don't know if y'all remember this one. This was in 2018. The rapper denied designing T-shirts urging Black voters to exit the Democrat Party. October 31st, 2018. Kanye West is at it again, or is he? After meetings with President Donald Trump, a controversial rant on SNL and insinuating that slavery was a choice for African Americans, his latest controversy involves his supposed link to the new Blexit shirts being hawked by conservatives. The term Blexit is a promoto or black exit that plays on Brexit, British exit, and refers to African American voters leaving the Democratic Party. The shirts made the round Saturday at the conservative group Turning Point USA's Young Black Leadership Summit in Washington, D.C., and are being sold at Blexit.com. The site also sells merchandise with the logo, We Free, likely a riff off the offensive conservative talking point that blacks are slaves on a Democratic plantation. And a baseball cap with a figure shaped like an X that may be an odd allusion to the Malcolm X gear that became trendy in the 90s. While West didn't attend the summit, TPS USA spokesperson and conservative pundit Candace Owens told the New York Post and Fox News that he was behind the designs. Quote, yeah, so you remember that, right? You remember that. Blexit is a renaissance, and I'm blessed to say that this logo, these colors were created by my dear friend. There you go, Kier. By my dear friend and fellow supporter, fellow superhero, Kanye West. This is in 2018. This is in 2018. Yeah, she lied about it. She lied about it. She told the publication, quote, he has taken one of the boldest steps in America to open a conversation we have needed to have, end quote. But after West started to get negative press because of the shirts, Owens backtracked on exactly what his role was in designing the line, saying West merely helped her with the design process, she told Fox News. However, that West redesigned her original logo with vibrant colors inspired by his trip to Uganda. Yes, he did. I remember that. Yes, she called him a superhero. Yes, and she said, dear friend, yep. What's like, I ain't do that. Yeah. So I'm just saying. That's why I asked the question, is she helping or hurting him? Whatever. Notice, she has the Blexit hashtag now. Blexit is about the beautiful stories of so many black people who have awakened themselves to the possibilities of our future as Americans. The press is trying to use Kanye's name to create drama and further divisiveness, which is wrong. Here's a statement of clarity from me. Today, the press is trying to conflate Kanye West with Blexit to get website clicks. So allow me to clarify my earlier statement. I said on stage that my friend and fellow superhero helped me to design. You said dear, but anyway. This may shock the world, but Ye is a world-renowned designer. Everyone who knows him asks him for advice on design. Ye supports various people in different regards because at the end of the day, his message is about unity and love. I know, Puny. I know. Hey, sis. Hey. Well, biblically, if you have been made aware of something and you see a brand being used, and yeah, they may not now legally, okay, she got it. The woman admitted that legally she did not get the trademark for it. But if I see your stuff, if I see your brand on there, it's no different than what Michael Williams and the people have done to me. No different. And then trying to rebrand it. But anyway, let me continue on. Blexit is a project that is notice. Blexit is a project that is mine entirely. I am blessed that Ye introduced me to a designer who, despite having totally different political beliefs than me, helped. That's all they got. On Tuesday, West tweeted that he had nothing to do with the merchandise and never wanted any association with Blexit. I introduced Candace to the person who made the logo, and they didn't want their name on it, so she used mine. I never wanted association with Blexit. I have nothing to do with it. Vox reached out to Blexit for comment about West's remarks, and we'll update when we hear back. On Wednesday, however, Owens released a statement expressing her hurt that West said that he felt used, and reiterating the idea that the media had misrepresented her comments about his involvement with Blexit. The statement, which Owens announced in a tweet, read in part, "I never once said that Kanye designed the T-shirts for Blexit. This is a lie that seems to have made its way around the world. A lie I would like to again correct for the record. Kanye was completely right to feel used in that regard, as I have done personally. I would like to publicly apologize to him for any undue stress or pain the effort to correct the rumor has caused him. His business relationships or his family, he simply never designed them." She apologized for any confusion she caused and apologized to the Trump administration, since she said some people believe that West's tweet about feeling used was directed at President Trump. Yeah, she tried to clean it up. "His tweets were aimed at me and me only, rightfully, for my personal failings," Owens said. "I bear full responsibility." While West's exact connection to the Blexit merchandise is still unclear, he says he merely introduced Owens to the person who designed the logo, with bigger question why Owens is using a Blexit Renaissance to begin with. She said the name popped into her head as she watched British politician Nigel Farage, a proponent of the Brexit movement, on television in 2017. Okay. And on it goes. But I just wanted you to see that. And this was from Forbes. I'm not going to read all this. This is pretty much the same issue, but I'm just showing you different articles talking about this. And oh, by the way, I'm not the only one mentioning this as well. There are other Black conservatives that have mentioned this. Andrew Stanton King, I believe Maj, I think, have mentioned this as well too. And another sister, her name escapes me. I was listening to her podcast. Latanya, what is that sister's name that we were listening to on Twitter? She had a Twitter live, and I think I had tagged y'all in the chat the other day. And her name escapes me, but I remembered reading her article about it as well too. So just giving you your some background and context to that. Yes, legally she has the Blexit belongs to Candace. The woman Lamia, she admitted that. She admitted that she didn't get a trademark on it because she couldn't afford to. And trademarks aren't cheap, by the way, depending on which ones you're trying to get. Yes, Felicia Killings. Thank you. Felicia Killings. She also has spoken out about this thing. So and nobody has no personal. I don't believe anybody has a personal axe. I don't have a personal axe to ground with Candace either. I mean, but I don't think her attitude towards the Black community. I mean, what are you doing in the hood? That's one of the issues that her and Andrew Stanton King had with each other, because and Kim Klacik. And she accused Kim Klacik of being a madam, and actually, to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, there is a defamation suit against Candace Owens. I believe Kim Klacik is suing Candace for $20 million. I believe it's $20 million. Because she falsely accused this woman of being a madam and stealing money, I believe. I mean, very, 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 very slanderous accusations. Very slanderous accusations. Yeah, they went at it. They definitely went at it. But she accused this woman of stealing money. So, but anyway, I was gonna play this video. Matter of fact, it's very short. It's about maybe 30 minutes. No, it's not 30 minutes. I think 30 seconds. I'm sorry. 30 seconds. Let me play this real quick. And Candace admits it right here that she, says that she owns. Yeah, I agree. But here's the question: you said Clay Sig is an admitted stripper, okay? But is a stripper and madam the same thing? I'm not saying madams can't strip, but isn't a madam a prostitute or runs a prostitution ring? Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that what a madam is? It's not just, I mean, isn't a madam like running prostitution? This is what I thought. But correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Okay, so let me just play this, because here's what Candace says about Blexit.
My personal charity, after I announced that I was doing this documentary, I run a charity called Blexit. We received a letter 2 weeks after the trailer dropped from the IRS saying that they were going to investigate my charity. I welcome the investigation because I am not a scam artist and I do real work in the inner city communities. This is Biden's IRS once again saying you are not allowed to investigate anything that the media is complicit in.
Now again, that's debatable, because there are a lot of people that speak about this and say, what work are you doing in the hood? I mean, I'm talking about people that I know that work at Blexit grassroots level, and like they don't come to the hood. Her or Brandon Tatum, they don't come to the hood doing no work in the hood. What hood? What inner cities? What communities? Where? Just saying. Just putting that out there. Yeah, I know she said, okay, so yeah, she caught her on madam and said that she stole money and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, apparently the case is still ongoing. All right. I'm about to wrap this up. But let me be fair. And Esteban, I'm gonna bring you on. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes, man, because I need to wrap this up. So if you can, make your comment and share your thoughts. Go right ahead, brother.
Hey, good evening, Pastor Seiko. How you doing?
Doing good.
Thank you for giving me some time. Really enjoyed this show. I got to be honest with you. When you did the video about Ye and Owens with the T-shirt "White Lives Matter," that is the absolute first time that I actually cut you off and didn't finish watching the video, because I was like, oh, Lord, listen, I have no issue with them wearing that T-shirt, because even if it was in poor taste, Black communities, and I am open, loud, and proud that I don't live in one, and I will not ever live in one. And there's no shame from me on my perspective of that, because we see how they are. But the point I'm trying to make is that if people are going to make a bigger deal about them wearing those shirts than what's actually going on in the Black community, that's why the Black community is in the shape that it's in. And this is the problem. They think that things like that are causing more harm than what's actually going on. And so as far as Owens, I've said it from day one, I think she's a grifter. I don't trust her. I don't hate her, but she is an opportunist just like Brandon Tatum. And again, while I may not be a fan of hers, that's not necessarily a crime to be an opportunist as well. Same thing with the Blexit. That other woman and Candace Owens' version of Blexit are clearly two different things. So they're just using the same name, but they are clearly separate entities. And by the way, the woman who allegedly came up with Blexit first, and I put it in the comment section, she's probably a leftist Democrat. You mean to tell me if the LGB or the Alphabet Mafia came to her with a check, she wouldn't allow them to use Blexit for their political platform?
But I think,
so,
hold on, but I don't think that's the issue. The issue I was bringing is from a biblical standpoint, because my thing is this.
I understand.
Yeah. So
again,
my point was, Esteban, is this: if as Christians, how are we to see this? Even though Candace Owens may not be a Christian, even though Malia Connolly is not a Christian, I'm looking at this from an ethics standpoint. Let me put it this way: if I was the creator of Coke, okay, Coke, do you have a right to take that brand and make it your own?
the name or the ingredients? That's what we're looking at here, and that's the point I'm trying to say.
The name.
Okay, listen. Like I said, at the very least, Owen should acknowledge that. This.
That's my point.
Yeah, and I agree with that. But again, they are clearly two different things.
Of course, they're two different things
philosophically.
Yeah, they're two different things. But
they're not the same. So Owens didn't take Blexit. She didn't take something tangible from her. She took the name, and that's it. And again, I'm not saying that's necessarily right. It's not right. And Owens should acknowledge that. Hey, I heard this name, and I used it for this.
Yeah,
but
and I think that's the point that in the premise that I was making, regarding that, not anything else. I'm like, if you knew this and you were served with a cease and desist letter, and then you do have receipts showing on social media that this name Blexit was used. Notice the woman didn't use Brexit because it was a British name. She used a different name, but Candace and this woman used the same name. Same name. Yes, different philosophical, plan and premise, but the name was actually used. And I don't know if you remember seeing a movie, that's using this as an example, American Gangster.
Yes, I was. Oh, brother, you and I are thinking just alike. I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
Blue Magic.
I know where you're going.
Yeah. So that's the premise that that I was coming.
But if you remember that line where Hollywood Nikki said, once you purchase something, you own it and you can call it whatever you want.
Yeah, but then Frank said no, that's trademark infringement.
But she didn't trademark it, as you know, she didn't trademark it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just talking from a philosophical standpoint. That Nikki took dudes, he called it. That's why Frank said, look, you can call it blank for all I care. Just don't call it that. You know what I'm saying? Because it was attached to the person or attached to the individual.
Sure. No, and I agree. And again, I'm glad. Like I said, you are on the same wavelength as that's concerned. And like I said, again, at the very least, Candace should acknowledge what this woman that she at least came up with the name. At the very least, that's what Owen should do. But again, like I said, Owens, Tatum, opportunists. Again, Owens. In fact, I was quite shocked to see Owens with Ye at that fashion show, because that fallout, Ye was very, very adamant that he was not attached to that. And he, I think he threatened to sue her, which is why she was so conciliatory and apologetic about it. I'm talking about in 2018 when they had their rift. And I didn't think they'd ever I didn't think they would ever reconcile from that. I'm truly, truly shocked. But I think Kanye, and I just want to touch on him real quick. Do I believe Kanye is a truly converted Christian? No, I don't. I think he's searching for something. But remember, he said, dad's not being in the home. Well, guess what? He even admitted, if you remember the interview with Tucker Carlson, his mother kept his father from him. Not the Jews, not white supremacy, his mother.
Right. I remember that. And I mentioned that as well, too. Yeah.
And so, but to get to the Jews specifically, because again, not everything is anti-Semitic. And we need to be careful because, as you know, and I'm sure you've heard of him, Brother Seiko, George Soros is a Jew.
Right.
And as you know, his family were collaborators with the Nazis. He's admitted about it. In fact, he laughed and joked about it.
Mm-hmm.
And when people bring up how wicked George Soros is because he made his billions through destabilizing currencies, and there's a lot of countries in Europe he's not allowed in, Russia being one of them. But do you know now that what this man is now doing to shield himself from criticism, Soros? Claiming you're anti-Semitic if you criticize him.
Yeah, that's not surprising. I mean,
that bastard. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear, but that enrages me. And so we have to be able to say, hold up. and I'm Hollywood and all of that aside, when you can't criticize someone like George Soros because it's under the guise of anti-Semitism, given how what that man has done, there's a problem.
Right. And I think that's the issue that, Kanye was mentioning in his interview that was getting, was getting him, kind of like shot at, verbally speaking or media speaking. But I do believe that, there were some things that he said in all of those interviews that had some truth to it. And that's why as Christians, we have to be able to discern and pull out those things that are true, and those things that are not, we need to speak out against it and make sure that we provide, a biblical framework to it as well.
Let me ask you this, because again, tell me where Kanye's wrong about their influence. Jews in America are
he's
what?
not. No, he's not. No.
They're less than what, 2% of the population, if that.
Right.
And yet they have such a stronghold on Hollywood, the music industry, and the media. We can't ignore that, how such a small, tiny population has such a powerful control over major industries.
Yeah.
That's not being anti-Semitic, bringing
I
that
agree.
up.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. And that's why I wanted to provide the context, and that's why I dropped that Leo Cohen video, because I wanted people to hear the man himself on how he feels about, it's about money.
And notice his demeanor in that room. He, first of all, he acted like he owned that room.
Yeah.
Like he was, and by the way, I'll give Kanye West credit, because a lot of your so-called tough gangster rappers, I forget who said it, but he said, you won't get your most hardcore rappers to say anything about Jews.
Right.
Because they know better. Remember, Nick Cannon went from saying something about the Jews to apologizing and saying, oh, I found out my great-great-great-grandfather was I mean, these are legitimate questions. Yeah. And then what Kanye's asking, and I don't believe him to be an anti-Semite. Listen, and I'll just say, for me personally, there's a difference between American Jews and Israeli Jews. There really, to me, is a difference. There is a distinction. To me, American Jews are just your average, everyday white people, even though they're Jewish. Israeli Jews, because first of all, they're just as different from each other. It would be no different than, say, me as a Black American versus a Black person in Africa. There is clearly a cultural, distinct difference. Yeah. Now, that's not to say that the nation of Israel is perfect. I mean, do you know where the world's largest gay pride parade is?
I guess you're going to say Israel?
It's Tel Aviv, Israel.
Yeah.
They are the world's largest exporters of porn. I mean, so they're not perfect.
Yeah.
They're not perfect. And to say that you can't criticize them, I think that's what Kanye West is trying to.
Right. Well, I agree with his sentiments regarding that. That's why I have provided the information. But bro, I'm about to go ahead and just wrap this up, because
all right, take care.
Yeah, we're already hitting 3 hours. I'm going to shut it down, but I appreciate you coming on, man. I really do.
Thank you.
All right, brother. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all again. Hopefully this information, you guys can take it, use it for what you will. I hope and pray that YouTube doesn't act a fool and try to flag anything. That's why I made sure I didn't play the Vlad video. But receipts are receipts. So I'll try to put the links up for Vlad and the Leo Cohen, if you want that as well too. But again, I thank you all so much for joining me tonight and today. Please do me a favor. Please like the video, share the video, continue to support channels like these and others. And I definitely appreciate the support as well. You guys have a great evening. Thanks you all. Thank all of you again for the love and also for y'all's patience with me regarding this whole little break that I've been taking, even when YouTube had took me off for about a week. But anyway, you guys have a great day, great week. And until next time, y'all know the drill. Whatever you do all to the glory of God.
You're still
God
here?
bless.
It's over. Go home.
Go.